True Believers, England team here. Just having a hangout stream. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we're going to talk about. Obviously, we got a subject or two to bring up, including our first one. This is, of course, Eric Breen is joining.
Greetings.
And, yes, and but not Eric Breen, just your avatar.
For the moment.
Okay. So I saw this article. It's almost one of those articles, and I see this a lot in comic book channels and such, where the entire article is the headline. You know, it would be like in issue 47 of Batman takes a piss, and then the article is all about he pees. It's just weird, and it doesn't go any deeper into that. And this is kind of one of those things, but I do believe there's something to be said. Because the first thing I thought about is something that happened in the 1980s. Let me get the story up here, and it is over. It's over 80 years after comics' greatest love triangle started. Archie will finally choose between Betty and Veronica, and that's what I saw. That's the headline I saw. And you know what first came to my mind? Moonlighting.
Okay.
You remember that TV show?
Yes.
For those of you who do not, Moonlighting was a show with Sybil Shepherd and Bruce Willis. It was really Bruce Willis's big break, right? That's his breakout thing. It was a very funny, very fun show for the first 3 seasons. Guess what happened at end of season 3? They got together. What it was is that it was a will they not. They always kind of teased it. They bumped heads. They showed caring and such like that. Then they put them together, and the show fell to shit. It just went south because as in the finale, as Marty Scorsese said, oh, no, it wasn't him. It was Gary Marshall. I always get them mixed up because they have the same accent. Gary Marshall says, people fell in love with you falling in love. And that's a main part of the story. That's the main crux of Archie and Betty Veronica. It is the dynamic of, is it Betty? Is it Veronica? Is it him going back and forth? So there you go. That's my take on this. I think that, and I think it could actually hinder the comic book. That being said, sometimes it isn't all about what happens. It's what happens after. Like when they were in the writing room for Superman, the death of Superman, they said, well, let's just kill the son bitch. Okay. Somebody said, yeah. And then you got to ask, but then what? You know, and that's the whole case. So it's not so much he makes the decision. How are they going to handle it after is the big question.
You know, I remember another thing Tom King wrote, and you know, Batman really went downhill after he and Catwoman got married. Oh wait,
yeah.
Do you really think this is gonna? If it does, this is just a one and done story, and it will be completely forgotten. Because like I said, there's not a monthly Archie title. So where's this going to play out after that? Nowhere.
Well, I do want to point out the art we're getting here. Now, is it going to be this Archie? Or is it going to be this Archie?
I think it's going to be that one because Dan Parent, I'm assuming, is the artist since Tom King's the writer.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if it's the cartoon Archie, then it could be exactly that. It could be a one and done. Actually, it says right here, so now it's come to this, a one-shot tale in which all of Riverdale comes together, including favorites such as Jughead, Josie and the Pussycats, and even Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, to help Archie make his big choice. Archie is also asking readers to pick Team Betty or Team Veronica on social media, capturing some now extra vintage Twilight momentum. I don't know. Asking social media anything is, I don't know. I don't know if I would do that. But anyway, I get it. It's a poll. But judging by the art that's been shown, including artist Stephen Byrne's variant seen below, it all may come down to all things, a coin flip. If it's that, then it's empty. It's hollow. Like I said, if you're going, it's not so much about what he does. It's not so much about the decision itself. It's got to be, what's the story about, you know? Yeah, maybe he picks Veronica over Betty, which I think, yeah, I'm Team Betty. Which I think so is the rest of the world, right? But if he picks Team Veronica instead, there should be a reason. It shouldn't be like, she's hot, you know, that kind of thing. Hello to Dalton, saying always happens, will they, won't they? Yep. Why choose Betty and Veronica seem okay to share? I wish I had Archie's problem. Actually, that was why they would butt heads quite a bit, is because they both liked Archie. I always thought Veronica would have been better as Reggie's girlfriend.
Yeah, but that was the thing. I mean, Betty and Archie and Betty were so much alike. You know, Reggie and Veronica were so much alike. So it's, yeah, because it's been 85-15 Veronica through the years, if not more.
Yeah. But yeah, and I hope that's the one thing I'm most worried about, is that they're going to whiff this story. And I wish I could say my fears are unjustified.
Well, we're talking, yeah, what'll this book sell? 20,000 if they're lucky?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, so
how much did the Death of Archie sell?
I don't
know.
Any idea.
I mean, that was a huge thing as well at the time. Okay, wait, what's going on here? I thought I was bringing in the. Oh, I see what happened. Okay,
honestly,
there we go.
That, yeah, those issues, they were virtue signaling so hard in those days that I'm sure there were probably more copies pirated than sold, given the audience they were clearly going after.
Probably. Okay, so he says, as a massive Archie fan, this is just a pure joy project for me. I wanted to do something zany and cool and screwball and hysterically and gorgeous and harebrained and maybe a little tiny itty bitty bit profound as a tribute to my golden and silver age Archie heroes. People like Dan DiCarlo, Harry Lucci, Bob Bowling, Bob Montana, Sam Schwartz. And who better to do that with than the modern Archie maestro, Dan Parent, who inherited and brilliantly carried on the legacy of those giants. Well, if you love Archie and you love the Archie character so much, why would you close the door on the biggest will they, won't they since Lois Lane in Superman? That being said, that door shutting opened up a fantastic family story especially when Peter J. Tomasi had it. You know, I've read Justice League New 52. I've read some of those recently, and they got rid of that dynamic, and the Superman Wonder Woman just felt so wrong after 15, 20 years worth of Superman Lois being married. Maybe this will open up some really good stories. We have no idea. It's like I said, it's not what it's about, it's how it's about it. So
I just think it's going to be a one shot that closes the chapter on this Archie, this Betty, this Veronica, and then next month they might be right back to the way it was.
That could very well be as well. And I don't know. I hope it's not. I hope they actually. I hope they actually take a moment and give it some respect.
Well, we have a guy with mommy issues and maybe one of the 5 most woke creators in the business now. So I don't have a whole lot of faith in it being good.
Yeah. Did you see Heather Antos's post?
We were going to bring that up as, you know what, we might as well. Since you brought up woke, Eric, you're the one that brought it up to me first, Eric. If you would like to tell the story of Mrs. Heather Antos, the person who basically started it all.
So we're talking about, who will, Archie choose Betty and Veronica. And of course, she's trying to be clever, but she kind of, they didn't say Betty or Veronica who will choose Archie, because it's Archie making the decision. But she said, I hope they choose each other.
So,
because kids, Heather is coming out for Pride Month.
okay, so here is, I'm going to put up the first poll of the evening. And it's going to be, let's see, here's the poll. What do you think? Will Betty and Veronica go gay for each other? Let me, I'm putting the poll up right now. And will Betty and Veronica go gay for each other? And start the poll. Let's see how the chat votes on this one.
In the modern world, why not just do a throuple? Honestly,
you know, actually, I'm actually surprised that, you know what, that might work. That might actually happen too. You know what? We don't have to choose. In today's modern society where everything is welcome, we could be polygamous. And that's the way
polyamorous is the word you're looking for.
If they were going to do this, if they were going to choose each other, it should have been in the Betty and Veronica series drawn by Adam Hughes. Just saying.
Now, that would be something a lot of us would support.
I would have sold.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, Eric, did you ever read the Die Kitty Die series? Because, you know, that was Dan Parent, and that's what makes me sad about the, you know, basically the turn that he's made. Because those were fun. Those were great.
I got two words for you. Howard and Stern. It happens.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But I mean, those were great parodies of basically, you know, slash homages to the Archie and Richie Rich type comic books.
I bet you wouldn't sign one at a show now.
Probably not. And
yeah,
I know if he were to do one now, it would read completely different than what it did 6 years, 8 years ago.
Anyway, the whole thing, like I said, it depends on how they're going to do the story. If it's a one shot, it might actually be good, or at least the first half of the book is going to be good, and the second half of the book is going to be shit because Tom King can't end anything. My favorite thing to look back on is the original Gabby's and the original Spirit Awards. I did the Spirit Awards the first time. Tom King, best writer, best series, Miracle Man. People, it was just all of best story, best. It was just people couldn't stop filleting Miracle Man. And then I did the Gabby's in June, and it was worst comic, worst writer, Tom King, Miracle Man, the whole 9 yards. And I started noticing, first of all, I read Batman. Batman was hit and miss, to say the least. Sometimes it would be a decent story. Sometimes it would be a bad one. Sometimes it would be a good, like I said, good story that ended badly. Sometimes it would be a bad story with good ideas, like the whole City of Bane thing. But I really noticed he's a mix, just a mishmash of good and bad. Tom King.
Well, I mean, that's the tragic thing, isn't it? I mean, Shakespeare said it centuries ago. All's well that ends well. The corollary being all's fucked that ends fucked. So yeah.
A good ending can really hide a lot of flaws.
Crap! I know what he's going to do. I know how it's going to end.
Okay, how's it going to end?
Archie's going to choose his mommy.
Why is that plausible in today's day and age? I don't want to live in a world where that's plausible, but it's plausible.
Archie, my mommy's strong.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's very possible.
That is true. But there you go. I don't know. It's hey, look, this is a hangout stream, guys. So if you have a topic you want us to chat about, by all means, let us know. Batman After 50 was just ass. Well, for Tom King, yeah, when Tinian picked up, it was okay. It wasn't bad.
Who did the Bat atheism issue? I remember reacting to that years ago, and I don't remember if it was Tom King or not.
Was that Tom King? I don't know. That might have been. Dan Parent, Rich Johnson. Antos is asking for the Carpet Munchie fanfic. It's true. Yeah, the man ain't lying. I don't know. But there you go. That was the first thing I wanted to talk about today. And LK, Eric, Dalton, if y'all have anything, if chat has anything to talk about. Otherwise, oh, go on ahead, Eric.
Is it crude of me to say that, maybe Heather, before she decided to munch carpet, that she shouldn't have been munching everything else she could get in her mouth?
Do you think the reason why she's going gay is because she can't get a man?
Yes.
No,
Accurate, also yes.
Nah, it's, like I said, she is so predictably predictable that it's June. She's promoting her gay Star Trek fanfic. I mean, actual Star Trek book. And it's, I guess she figures she might as well, quote unquote, live the part. So,
for the love of God, speaking as the token gay on this channel, if you're gonna write a gay story, can it at least be a decent romance subplot, please?
Oh, by the way,
well, the whole thing with Heather is she's so desperate to be liked and to be popular and to be relevant. And it's clear. I mean, if you want to be in her circle, if you want to be popular, you find yourself somewhere on the spectrum. It's plain and simple. And, it goes with, I wish I knew exactly how your boy Zach phrases it, but it's, basically that in general, women choose something because it's popular, or make it popular because it's popular.
They choose things that are popular while they're popular because they're popular. That's
Thank you. That's it. Yep.
But I said, just like there are more. If you'd asked a bunch of straight dudes reading comics in the 80s, said, man, by 2024, half of the female characters are going to be lesbians, we'd have gone, yeah. Now we're 2024.
Tell me more. Yeah.
And they write stories. They write stories for ugly lesbians that don't like attractive women. So I guess as far as like you're asking for a romantic subplot in your gay comics, well, that would be giving the wrong people what they want. So piss off with that.
Well, yeah, that and every gay man has to be Big Gay Al from South Park, and no one can ever act masculine because apparently that's anathema to being gay, even though like a third of the gay population are tops. But what the frick ever.
This is the most I've learned since I did a stream with Joe Corallo and Josh McDonald.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you talk about that, but here, let me share. God, what was it? So this is actually a panel from a book, one of the books that you will have up for auction soon. Where is
You're going to make it so I can't sell this book, Archie?
Oh no, the complete opposite. Because this goes along with what Eric was talking about in terms of 20 years ago. If we heard, oh yeah, characters are lesbian or whatever, this would be awesome. So this is Flare number 6, that one that had the tigress on the cover. And let me blow it up a little bit more.
Before they started demonizing beauty.
Yeah. So basically what happened is Flare goes to investigate seemingly a murder. They find out that her friend Donna Hannah, aka Lady Arcane, was there. She says, oh, well, it couldn't be Donna because, well, why? Oh, well, because she was snuggled up next to me. Oh, okay. And then she says, here, what are you trying to do? Why can you be more cooperative? What do you suggest? I told him, blah, blah, blah. He says, you shouldn't have lied. You don't think I did it? No. Why are you trying to protect me? Because you're my friend. And oops, here we go. And says, so just where were you? I was having fun. I wish you'd been with me, but since you weren't, I found this really cute 16-year-old, and I don't want to hear about it. And she goes, Terry, you really have to get over this hang up you have about finding Mr. Right. You need to find love where you can find it. And he says, well, you say you love me, but I'm beginning to wonder if you really do. Certainly your feelings for me are far removed from the feelings I have for you. And she says, she straight out says, you're a lesbian, Donna. I'm not. And then, Donna tries to explain, well, that's just a label. The fact is I like guys too. I even almost got married once, but it's what's inside, not what's outside. I care for someone. I'm not going to let something as irrelevant as that person's sex get in the way. and
I mean,
Donna-
that's another thing. The bisexual erasure is real. Seriously.
Yeah, well, and this is the the closer, the panel. Just in general, I find women to be more attractive to me than men, and I find you to be more attractive to me than anyone else I've ever met.
Yeah.
So, and that was in 1990, basically.
The people that pander to the alphabet mafia, they hate they hate the B. Why is that even still in there?
What?
There is genuinely a concerted effort to get the B completely removed from the thing, because enforcing the gender binary herder.
Well, it's okay. There's so much more. There's so much more signals to be virtued by being gay versus bi. So that's why I said when they say that Tim Drake and John Kent are bi, bullshit. They're gay.
They never actually demonstrate it, and even when, and this is the other thing, they won't write them as individual characters. They have to write them as avatars of all gay kind, or at least what they think all gay kind, quote unquote, should be. And as a result, despite there being a gay character with all the powers of Superman, which in theory should be something I'm very much in favor of, John Kent is an insufferable little Antifa supporting twat, so screw him.
Yeah,
and not in a fun way.
Yeah.
I'm
here's the thing.
hold on. Ending the poll, and 57% say that yes, Betty and Veronica will go gay for each other, while 42 said no.
Well, the poll should have been 0 with that question, but
I vote trouble. That's my solution. Just stop choosing.
If y'all don't mind, I want to shift to something a little personal. I know I'm in Indiana, but I'm a Florida man.
I'm here too, just Oh,
hello to RDV.
Hi, you attention whore.
Do you have anything to say before we move on? I'll give you the platform.
I'll just say quickly on the whole Veronica thing. It's basically we're treading the same waters. You can choose Veronica or you choose Betty. That's all it is. The Tom King adding in stuff for Liz.
I just wanted to add one last thing. You were talking about, with John and Tim, quote unquote, being bi. So the problem is now is that they're in committed relationships. So we're never ever going to get proof that they're actually bi, where somebody will write them as being attracted to a woman.
They'd never be allowed to.
LT, I agree. They're written by people who are committed.
Yeah, these
committable.
These guys go to gayer bars.
That's the thing, though. They never actually will give us a reason to think that these characters are committed to their significant others. Which, again, not to be a broken record here or anything, but that is the freaking reason to point out a character's sexuality, is to give them a romantic significant other subplot. But they don't care enough about the character to make them a character, so we don't have any reason to care about their romantic relationships.
I want to steer this away from the gay talk.
It's a
but I also have another topic I wanted to talk about because we're seeing
it quite away.
Yes, we're going to pray it away. Parker says Tim King writing Archie Comics is definitely killing the best comics for children, and that is absolutely sad. That's why I was wondering, is it because there's two different Archies right now? One is more Beverly Hills 90210 or whatever, CW, I guess would be the modern take on it. And one is the old-fashioned jokey Archie. So if it's old-fashioned jokey Archie, you're right, Parker. If it's not, that's a whole different
Riverdale.
Go ahead, RDV.
When it comes to Dan Parent, there's no difference. It sucks either way. So I mean, so just putting Tom King on there is just confirming that they don't care about the characters. They haven't for a while.
I say I want to change subject, but now I'm thinking of it. I'm just kind of shifting the focus of the subject because I am, of course, a Florida man. Moved to Muncie, Indiana, for some reason. And when I did, I had to watch from afar as the world's greatest ride, Splash Mountain, was taken down and then put up as in my favorite my favorite view was somebody said it looks like Nefertiti's bunghole. I don't know if you guys have seen the new Splash Mountain, the Princess and the Frog.
I haven't seen the finished product. I saw
Okay, let me bring it up for those of you who do not know. Nefiti is the island in Moana.
Is there crime everywhere?
Now, it used to be so much better to look at and such. I'm trying to find the actual thing, but this is what they turned Splash Mountain into. I don't know. Maybe you went to Disney, maybe you didn't, but it was a mountain and it was awesome. And now, not so much. Okay, let's see if I can find it. Here's a picture of it, and people are saying it looks like Nefiti's bunghole because Nefiti was a woman, a goddess who laid down and created a mountain thing, just a mountain range, and it is ugly, it is horrible, and it is because they hired two women to be it's called like storytellers, where they want to make sure that marginalized communities have their stories told. I don't know who is marginalizing people. I'm 53 years old. I'm sure, Eric, you're 62. You can back this up. For as long as I can remember, Black people, gay people, you can do things.
Yeah.
Go do them. I've seen it. I'm not impressed. Oh, look, they're making a movie. Big fucking deal. I've seen movies with Black people in it. Sweet badass.
I've never been stopped from doing things on the basis of my identity, so I don't know.
Once again, the whole thing is that it's not us or just regular general folks, quote unquote, marginalizing. It's the elites.
It is really the people who are saying they're marginalized.
Well, but I mean, specifically too, especially if you look at, like Hollywood executives and stuff like that, it's the elites that have engaged in this behavior, but to try and forgive themselves,
Matthew and Nicholas,
of this.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. You want to know
it to everybody. It's the same thing as with Me Too. Me Too was not a nationwide problem. It was an elite problem. It was the, Hollywood types. It was the academics. It was the politicians. It was.
You want to know how to piss off. If you want to know how to piss off Mark Waid, by the way, one of the most famous comic book writers in comic book in the comic book community. If you want to know how to piss them off while they're talking about all that Me Too and talking about marginalized and talking about how it was so horrible for Black people, so horrible for women back in the day, remind them, weren't you around then and you said nothing? You didn't say shit until I guess now that it's popular.
Until it became
not just that he didn't
expedient.
Say anything.
None of them did.
He had authority editorial positions in multiple companies and did nothing.
Yep.
Look,
they did nothing.
If you're going to go by that, then there was no reason for Joe Biden to give his Morehouse commencement speech.
Why would you do all that?
Then
go on ahead, RDB.
I say, why do all that trouble when you can just wear a manga hat and hold up World's Finest in a photo? That'll trigger him.
That'll do it.
Well, there's that, but more to the point, the other half of that, of course, is Karen Berger was an editor in the 80s, and nobody stopped her. She was Neil Gaiman's freaking boss, for crying out loud, when he was doing Sandman, and nobody stopped her.
I was going to say, go on ahead, Eric.
I was saying Jeanette Kahn ran the company from 76 to 2003.
Yep. And did pretty well at it. I mean, granted, that first bit out the door, but there were some extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, well, Mother Nature was sexist and had all the blizzards.
Yeah, they were. That was. But I wanted to bring up. So many people hate the change because Splash Mountain was voted #1 attraction everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. Everybody who's ever gone to Magic Kingdom voted that Splash Mountain was the greatest ride, except for Tim Lim and I think Mark, where they said, no, Haunted Mansion's the best. They were wrong, but they're close. It really is.
I didn't get a chance to go on Splash Mountain. I will vouch for a Haunted Mansion, though. That was my favorite ride that we went on when we were there.
But there's more to it. There's more to it, and I wanted to bring this up because I am a Disney fan. I do have Disney Plus, and I'm happy to have Disney Plus. As I put up a little, I don't know if it was called a meme or just a post, but I put up a tweet, an X or whatever you call it, where I had a scene from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And I said, while you fuckers are arguing over Star Wars this and Marvel that, I'm using Disney Plus, right? I'm watching the fucking classics. That's what it's there for. They should have called it the Vault straight up and just promoted the classics until they had a foothold. But that's just me. The classics
should have, and they didn't.
But they're under freaking attack, and everybody and their brother are coming out now and saying, "Dude, you know it's time to stop. Disney, what the f are you doing?" From Bounding into Comics, the Princess and the Frog director criticizes Disney's turn to activism, and that's how everybody's believing. Remember when Disney would tell stories? There might be some sort of social message in them, but they were buried under the story. You could enjoy the story without being smacked with it. So this guy Musker, whose director credits include Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Princess and the Frog, and Moana, which, by the way, all of those are awesome.
Yeah.
Offered his thoughts on the company's current direction while speaking to a Spanish news outlet. And he's pressed by the publication as to whether he and his fellow production crew members on The Princess and the Frog were trying to make a political statement with their decision to introduce a black princess into Disney canon. And the director said, we weren't trying to be woke, although I understand the criticism. The classic Disney films didn't start out trying to leave a message. They wanted you to get involved in the characters and the story and the world. I think that's still the heart of it. You don't have to exclude agendas, but you have to first create characters who you sympathize with and who are compelling. Closing out his answer with a word of advice for Disney, he says, I think they need to do a course correction a bit in terms of putting the message secondary behind the entertainment and compelling story, engaging characters, and fun songs. That should always
correct. Objectively correct.
Notably, Musker is not the first Disney-affiliated individual to call for the company to put down their signs and pick up storyboards. Andrew Ross Sorkin said, I think what had happened over a period of time was building and building. Maybe it reached a peak of some sort while I was gone, is that the creators lost sight of what their number one objective should be. Often we entertain. We've entertained as a company for over 100 years. We've been in the business. We have entertained with values and with having a positive impact on the world in many different ways. I use Black Panther as a great example of that, just in terms of fostering acceptance, or the movie Coco. By the way, I have seen that movie so many times, and when that kid sings to his grandma, I still start to tear up.
Yeah, Coco's awesome.
I love that movie. I like being, I like being able to do that, to entertain. If you can infuse it with a positive message that have good impact on the world, fantastic. But that should not be the objective. When I came back, what I've really tried to do is return to our roots, which is, remember, we have to entertain first. Iger concluded, fuck you, Iger, bullshit. Okay, I'm out of this. No, do you know what? Iger is the guy that's pushing it. Chapek got a lot of shit for a whole bunch of this stuff, but Iger's still pushing it. Iger's still pushing the agenda. He has this DEI group that I mentioned it before. The stories, they want to make sure that marginalized people get their stories out. They're called the storytellers. Now, here's what they do, and this is the big problem. I said it behind the scenes. I said it to Gail. I talked to her about it. Let me mention it here. The big problem with having a committee to do this, what they do is they find out where things will be insensitive, where it might hurt feelings, where it might trigger people. That's why you get a trigger warning on Dumbo or Peter Pan before you start it. And they're the ones that got Splash Mountain changed from Song of the South to Princess and the Frog. There are no fucking mountains in the bayou. If you are going down a fucking mountain, a 50-foot drop, you're in a sinkhole. kiss your ass goodbye. You're dying now. There is no mountain in the goddamn bayou. For fuck's sake. They couldn't do Pocahontas, which would have fit in Adventureland and actually has a freaking waterfall in it. And is Native American. You got all that shit. And all I want, and I see this picture. No, Dalton, you're not getting in on this yet. I see this picture, and it was like Iger and everybody, and they're looking at Splash Mountain. How are we going to change this? And all I can think is turn the around, you idiots, because right behind you is Tom Sawyer's Island. You could raise that whole freaking thing without interrupting one day of park, and then you change the front end of New Orleans, the back end of the bayou. You've got an old Civil War fort that could be changed to Madame Leota, or what's the villain's name, Dalton?
Dr. Facilier.
Facilier. You could change it into his shop. You could do all sorts of shit with, the caves on that island would be Dr. Facilier's shop. You could change the island, and you never have to touch the most perfect freaking ride of Disney's creation before the Japanese came in.
Okay.
But no, you got these guys, and they're the storytellers. And once they did away with Song of the South, they have to justify their existence. So what do? Tinkerbell is now problematic, and you cannot meet her in the parks anymore. Go on ahead, anybody who wants to jump in.
Wait a second.
What
Can I say something I'd never
okay.
thought I'd ever say in this life?
Go on ahead.
Go ahead, Eric.
Would you like to say something?
Yes, I very much would. One, why in the hell did they have to rebrand something anyway? Why can't they just give Tiana or Princess and the Frog its own freaking ride? That's one thing. Thing two, what in all the fuck could they possibly find problematic about Tinkerbell?
I will tell you.
Oh god.
Okay, here's why that little girl who loves Tinkerbell so much in your family can no longer meet her, is because Tinkerbell will make her feel bad about her body. Tinkerbell is in too good of a shape. As a matter of fact, Tinkerbell herself is way too body conscious. Remember, she stands on a mirror, she puts her hands on her hips, and she goes like that. Look, she's not liking her hips. She's not liking her body dimensions. Therefore, she is not body positive. So you can't meet Tinkerbell. That's not all.
Because who ever heard of women wanting to be beautiful?
Now.
She is jealous that Peter Pan likes Wendy.
Yes.
She is jealous of Peter Pan's attentions. She is, and that cannot happen. A woman cannot want the attention of a man. God damn it. Okay, there you go.
She used to be get yelled at by Spitfire, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is that they've done other Tinkerbell cartoons, animated movies that they could use the design from that. I know somebody was talking about, like, there's one where she has kind of a pseudo Buccaneer pirate outfit, but again, that it also comes down to, but with both of these, you're asking why. It's because they can. It's because of control.
Because ideology, I know, but internally, why is the question?
Yeah, but and then too, just to go to it, I mean, anybody who thought Iger was backing down on this, was completely foolish. Even when he talked about it, it wasn't talking about removing it or minimizing it. It was talking about hiding it. It was all, we don't need to be so vocal about it. They were going to go full steam ahead. And of course, the thing is, I mean, at least so far, the public is still not buying it. I mean,
how many more bombs, Disney? How many more bombs do we need to explain to you what you're doing wrong?
You saw the announcement for Pixar this week, right?
Yes, I did.
150, 170 jobs. They announced actually they're scaling back, and now they're just letting Pixar only do movies that they were going to do Disney Plus content.
Hold on just a sec. Thank you, Glenzer, for the $5 super chat saying, on the topic of trigger warnings, Judi Dench deserves applause. I do not understand what that's about. But sorry, man, if you want to explain further, I'd love to talk about it. But yeah, your Pixar's releasing people in before big release.
Well, and as far as I know, the only Disney Plus show that Pixar is doing is, I guess, one that's about to come out. So unless there's something I've missed on Disney Plus, which it may well be, because I'm
pretty sure it's just the Doug one. I'm pretty sure.
Pixar show or Pixar movie in probably 3 or 4 years now at this point. And of course, I mean, I loved it too, that evidently the Pixar show that was being worked on, that I guess is going to come out in Disney Plus sometime this year, is about a co-ed volleyball team. So,
I'm shocked about.
There you go.
What?
I'm shocked everybody's upset about Tinkerbell being recast as a guy when Peter Pan's been a woman for the past 60 years.
Oh, that was because it played better on stage.
Sure.
Peter Pan was only a girl on. No, Peter Pan was only a girl on stage,
so that they didn't have to deal with child actors.
And yeah, they would appear more. They would appear more youthful. They were lighter for the harnesses, like LK was saying. But as soon as they put them to movie, which was the Disney animated Peter Pan, that was Bobby Driscoll.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And from then on, it's been a guy playing Peter Pan. It was just for the plays and such. And that's why you got Sandy Duncan. I believe there was a televised play with her. And then the 1960s one.
Well, Sandy Duncan did it. Also,
Marie Martin.
Well, famous gymnast Kathy Rigby, I believe,
portrayed
Peter Pan in a TV one. Maranya saying Mary Martin recreated the stage role on live TV. So yeah.
Is famous gymnast Kathy Rigby anything like character actress Margot Martindale? Who would be rough on any harness?
Yeah. So, by the way, I did find a site that has a bagged FemForce 91 for sale.
Okay, what is it?
Go to Mile High Comics.
Oh, I don't want to. I don't want to.
Well, you can at least see the prices based on the grades and go at it and go at it from there.
Did you say it's poly-dragged and bagged?
Yeah. I'll say if I'm doing my math right, it's about a 30%. Once you get to like very good, it's like about a 30% increase between bagged and unbagged.
Let's see. I literally put in the title and Mile High, and it didn't show it.
Well,
Mile High Club.
I searched for Mile High Comics first, and then punched into their search engine FemForce and looked for it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Ironically, FemForce sounds like something that would be totally different today.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. Well,
I'm glad they haven't revived it, because it would ruin it.
Yeah, well, I was flipping through the Flair #6 here, and I forgot just how glorious kind of both of these stories are in terms of conversations and characters and ideas that almost nobody, maybe Zenescope would do it, but I doubt anybody else would. I mean, I've got to let me just share this one other panel, because you'll laugh out loud, and maybe it'll make somebody want to buy it even more on Saturday.
Flair sounds like a Marvel.
Okay, go on ahead.
Yeah, so here's Flair starring in the enemies. This is Rose down here, and Flair. She's helping Flair get into her costume, and it's still a bit snug, Terry. Is it my imagination? Or are you getting pudgy? And Flair responds, "You just wish you could eat like a pig and never put on weight." And then they still have a little fun kind of back and forth in terms of the costume, and she could keep wearing the toga, and it's flashy. Am I exposing too much flesh? And you've never worried about that before. And talks about the fact that, her way her powers work is being exposed to sunlight. And of course she makes the comment about, well, if that's the case, then you should just fly around naked. So this is how you do slice of life conversations and make it fun. Not whining or moaning the way they do in She-Hulk and Captain Marvel and everything.
Yeah.
else.
San Francisco problems.
Where it'd be a dude called Flair.
Say again.
Was that Venkman?
I said I want today's Marvel version of Flair, where it's a guy.
Oh, no.
We're in that costume.
Yeah. So great.
They can't make men hot either because beauty is forbidden. Period.
Yeah. Look at Terry there, and she lovely. And I'm trying to remember who was the artist on this back in the day. This wasn't Beecham. It was Howard Simpson. Howard Simpson with Del Barris on inks. So ring a bell, Breen?
I remember the anchor.
Yeah.
He did a lot of AC work, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, this Flair was heroic.
I know, but I know that Del Barris did a lot of. I want to say he did a lot of, not necessarily FemForce, but like some of the other titles they did.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Flair number 6 has been a long-time favorite of mine. So.
Maranya saying that most Flair readers probably weren't reading the book.
Hey, now I might.
I mean that's true, but at least they still put in the effort to write something that didn't make you want to gag.
Yeah, it was a fun story. Because you had the 2 stories in there. The first one was with the Tigress, and then the second one they wind up showing kind of this alternate version of the champions. So it's a group of villains or bad guys that are getting together and being brought together for the sole purpose of taking down the champions. So good fun stuff.
I mean, we joke, but it is ironic that in a book that was very obviously meant for self-engagement, shall we say, they still did put in the effort to write. When now, in a book that's supposed to be about the story or the characters, they still can't be arsed to write something that doesn't make you want to throw up after reading it. Most of the time.
I can say this after looking at the Mile High thing. Wow, do I undercharge for these books?
Well, don't start.
Either that or they overcharge.
More likely,
they've got to pay for their kitty drag show somehow, so they have to up the charges and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, they're paying. Believe me, they're paying.
They've got a sale going on their back issues. So if you use the code word summary, you can save 60% off your back issues.
Which, by the way, the kitty drag shows are pretty much why I don't do Mile High comics.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I agree with you, Maranya. I agree with you.
Maranya saying, I want to see both men and women shown in physical perfection for superheroes. Supporting cast can have body diversity unless the supporting characters have a long established look. See Mary Jane Watson Parker. Yeah. No, I wouldn't mind if they, which they never will do again, but I don't know, maybe in the Ultimates, if Mary Jane got pregnant and she put on actual weight for it.
She kind of
or maybe even like instead of drawing her super thin after she has the baby, she's got, not necessarily fat, but that kind of soft look.
If you want to see that, go read Invincible.
They're never going to ever address the pregnancy or the marriage ever again, because that would be acknowledging that we fucked up in one more day, and we simply will not ever do that for some reason. Even though it would be lauded from the rooftops of every geek's house in this freaking universe.
Pretty much.
Well,
we're never going to admit that we screwed up one more day.
Of course they're not going to video, but right now everybody's enjoying Ultimate Spider-Man because that's basically what we've wanted for the past 30 years.
Yeah. Eddie Candy is supposed to be chubby. She's not. She's not supposed to be black. Yeah, I did read I read Golden Age Wonder Woman. Eddie Candy is a ridiculous character in the Golden Age, and she's supposed to be chubby. I like the way they used her in the movie. She was chubby, but in the book she was like, oh my gosh, there's candy. Like she literally fished a box of chocolates out of the ocean so she could eat them. And then talked about how the salt made the chocolate better.
I mean, unironically,
in the middle of a fight.
I mean, unironically, sometimes you just have a chocolate fan.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, she was a ridiculous character in the Golden Age. I can admit that. Yeah. Do you think DC would make Batgirl pregnant?
Well, not in the main story. In Elseworld, probably. That's what they're going for.
What do you think, Eric?
About will they make Batgirl pregnant?
Yeah.
If they do it won't be. Okay, there's no way to say this without. It won't be from Richard.
Yes.
It'll be some other dick.
I think it would be a not Richard that used to be a straight guy and now considers himself a woman.
I think she'll just do it herself and just go to the actual place and then get the veto like a better one.
Who are you talking about?
I think there will be some interdimensional shenanigans like Avengers number 200. That's the only way they would allow a woman to get pregnant.
David Crosby.
David Crosby is in You're So Vain. What was it? Who was he supposed to be the father of?
No, I think that's in that. I think that's who Melissa Etheridge and some other.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Or sperm donor. I mean.
Yeah, they used David Crosby. Why?
I mean,
that was my question. Why?
The kids were born with, hair around their temples and a walrus mustache. That was weird.
Was that like the cheapest one she could afford for celebrities?
It might have been.
Is it like is like a celebrity that you can choose from? Like, we got this package here, get this celebrity.
There you go. I don't know. In a world that has Pierce Brosnan, she goes for David Crosby. In the main books, Babs has been fighting too much to have carried a kid for the past 2 years plus. Yeah, that was really stupid. Like when? When did she carry this child? There has to be a 9-month period that we did not see Batgirl in order, or anybody.
They're saying she's already got the kid?
Yeah.
What? Now, I don't know about that, but I know there's an Elseworld book where they're having a kid together.
Okay, maybe that's it. I don't know.
Not Tom Taylor's, though. Yeah.
No,
with Tom Taylor's Nightwing verse, they pull that shit.
Right now, Tom Taylor has Dick being limp. He can't jump anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I know, right? He can't get it up.
If you want to do that, I mean, it's like, at what point does Diana have a kid? Because we've got this whole Trinity backup story and all this nonsense and Tom King.
I honestly, she should just have one night with Bruce. That's about it. That's all she needs.
Yeah. And boy, are there some bad books this week?
A lot of good books.
I haven't read anything this week. I'm still looking at Doctor Doom. I want to read that from this week. What do we have? It looks of interest.
I flipped through the Union Jack Blood Hunt book today.
The first few pages.
I was just like, what is this? This is not a Marvel book. I mean, this was just grotesque in terms of just. I mean, this was something like out of almost, I'm going to say, like Walking Dead.
So, first of all,
hold on.
I want to address if you're reading the online pirated version, that's actually the gory version. There's the red band.
Well, yeah,
and also this is part of the Blood Hunt series with vampires.
Yeah, I mean, but the gore part aside, it's just like, what are they doing? And of course, the other thing too is they're not thinking about the ramifications in the universe.
They never do. That's why they need to stop doing events, for God's sake, but they will not for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, for example, I mean, it was funny because Union Jack, and of course the story's taking place in Manchester, and my first thought is, okay, in this world, unless there's like some kind of time travel, everything reverts back. You're going to have hundreds of thousands if not maybe million people, dead, either killed directly by the vampires or turned into vampires that are then being killed like by the heroes. And I'm thinking like, oh yeah, they're gonna once this is all over, yeah, they'll restart the Premier League with no problem at all. Yeah, we'll be back to having matches between Manchester United, Manchester City. Everything will be fine. It's like, no, this is cataclysmic.
Consequences, goddammit.
Yeah, and it's
they're most likely to do time shenanigans like most people do when they do these kind of events.
Well, you don't even need time travel shenanigans. There's a spell in the Book of Vishanti to reverse vampirism.
Yeah,
that requires them to actually know their own lore, which
Strange can't do it right now
is a lost cause at this point.
Yeah, but then just some of the character designs too. It's like I was flipping through this. So there's a former hero that the guy who's now Union Jack is actually keeping alive in the basement of this building that they're trying to protect, and he's got like wooden spikes that have grown out of his eye sockets. It's like, what are you doing? Is this supposed to be like the Hellraiser version of of the Marvel universe? Have we really sunk this far?
I'm sorry that you don't like it, but this has been one of the better events we've had in like the past 20 years, bro.
Yeah, but think about what you're saying.
Okay.
How is that comparatively?
I'm actually enjoying it. I'm actually enjoying stuff.
For me.
Okay, no, that's different than what you said before. What you first said was this is one of the better events they had in the past so-and-so years.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been 20 years since they've actually had a good event.
15.
Well, and once again, yeah, that's different than saying.
And also, this is nothing new. We've had War of Realms. You think so? You're worried about the people with vampires? We've had freaking gods invade freaking Earth as getting in war. So like, this is nothing new to the Marvel universe.
The issue is they never resolve these events well. Retconning and time travel shenanigans and stuff is one thing, but they never actually use it well because they don't know or care enough about their own lore to actually come up with an in-universe explanation as to how things can be written.
Unlike the War of the Realms, this just seems so brutal and ugly. It's almost like somebody said, hey, you know what? Marvel Zombies was so popular. Let's take that idea and actually import it into
but this time for vampires, yeah.
616 universe.
Honestly,
this vampires instead.
This feels more like we saw DC versus vampires and how that flopped. Let's do Marvel versus vampires with Blade.
Yeah, but again, the whole DC versus vampires was an alternate universe. That was basically an Elseworlds book.
Marvel's been an alternate universe since Civil War.
Yeah, if not all new, all different. They literally Secret Wars the continuity, so it literally is a different continuity.
Yeah.
Well,
unfortunately, that means we literally have no reason to care about these characters anymore because they're no longer reminiscent of the characters that we know or care about.
Yeah, well, and I forgot to look. Is Blood Hunt actually running through any regular titles?
Through Amazing Spider-Man, it's going through Moon Knight, it's going through Doctor Strange.
Is it going through Spidey? Because I just looked at Spidey.
Amazing Spider-Man has a Blood Hunt tie-in. Miles Morales is being affected by this as well.
I'm of two minds on Doctor Strange being involved because he should be involved because this is very much in his wheelhouse. But they never write him well, so I regret him being involved.
He's already been cut in half. So
spoilers.
God damn it. The one guy whose job it is to deal with these kind of apocalyptic scenarios, and that's why you have to get his own book.
Well, to be fair, they gave him a shot in 1982. It didn't take. They gave him another shot in the early 90s. It didn't take. Then maybe it's time for a new voice. Just saying.
I'm sure this is going to be. I'm sure this is going to be yet another. Let's play musical chairs with the title of Sorcerer Supreme while Doc is persona non grata for another 20 issues. I freaking hate that.
Well, it could be worse. There could be Kid Strange. So
let me defend VENKMAN for a second. Not that he needs it, but he's enjoying this event. That's fantastic. Here's the only problem I have with Blood Hunt. I mean, I'm long past caring about Marvel, but I remember when Siege was going on, there were references to things that happened in Dark Reign as a result of Secret Invasion, Civil War, House of M. 6 months from now, 6 months after Blood Hunt, will anything from Blood Hunt ever be referenced again? That's my problem with Marvel events, because once the old one's out the door, it's completely forgotten.
The entire universe gets amnesia. Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, because Marvel used to be better at that. DC used to be better at that.
There's no downtime. There's no time to. There shouldn't be one every year. You got to give at least a year's worth of stories to deal with the past event before the new event comes up. That way,
not to mention at least a year of stories.
We get to know the new placement of the characters, where they are at that point. It's gotten ridiculous with it.
Not to mention a couple years of stories of just the characters doing what the characters normally do, which they don't ever let them do, because it's always jumping from one event to the next event. Like, when was the last time you saw a character-based book which was just the character doing what the character normally does? Because the writers simply don't want to and couldn't be asked to understand these characters well enough to know what they would be doing on a day off.
Like I said, maybe they don't even know what these characters are, other than full speed ahead into the next event.
The reason I'm liking this is because this is the first series, that I can honestly say I would have loved back when I was 14 years old to read. This is vampires. Yeah. This is the Marvel universe. This is actually consequences. People are actually dying, and there's no easy fix right away. And the characters, dear God, Captain Marvel is actually being written good by Jen McKay.
If Harold H. Harold shows up in one of these books, let me know. Then I'm on board.
Victor Strange is also a wandering about too. Vampire Victor Strange.
Yeah, I don't care about him. Just give me Harold.
Oh, good. They brought back Vic.
Yes.
Vic's hard to kill. Vic's as hard to kill as Baron Blood.
He was, yeah.
Well,
Baron
I mean,
Blood.
Even when he was Baron Blood.
That's a bit of a thing. Is Victor Strange always?
The only downside is that they have Blade's stupid daughters in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, you didn't.
I know, right? And they're trying to snuff her out because the Blade.
Because she's so much better than Daddy ever was.
And she's going to be part of the Avengers Academy Marvel Voices Infinity webcomic. So.
Yeah. Oh, so she's gonna. So that's where she's gonna come out.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she's already out. I mean, it was funny. I looked at. I had not heard of Kid Juggernaut before.
Wait, who is that, and why?
Oh, God. He's. I'm not sure exactly how he got the crystal. The band of Sidorak. Yeah.
So,
but yeah, he is the new. He is, well, in this at least, he's the new Juggernaut, and he's also wonderfully gay. And,
okay.
And looking for love.
Okay, it's Juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah, and as far as the red brand going, the difference is you get like 3 or 4 pages with a little more blood, more gore, more gory scenes for $1 extra. So you actually,
I'm with Doc. We need to stomp this out in the crib before it. It
just sounds like you don't like the gore stories as much as like Ash doesn't like Wolverine being a bad guy.
Just do it. These red band variants. This is a horrible idea.
Actually, no. It's a lot better than paying the extra $1 for a variant that has nothing to do with the entire book, like a Donald Duck variant. I'm actually glad Doc's $1 is going to do something that I would love to see.
Well, they need to stop both of them, but I mean, this is just going to keep going because I mean, they announced the the Wolverine Revenge miniseries by Hickman and Greg Capullo is going to have a red band interior variant.
Why not? Actually, they shouldn't need an alternate Wolverine should always have freaking blood and guts coming there. It's Wolverine.
Well,
man.
that's my criticism of this red band thing. You shouldn't be segmenting out all the gore that should be there by rights. Let the universe be edgy occasionally. God damn it!
But they know they're people. They know there's people who don't like they're squeamish. They don't like okay. They'd rather just have the normal with no blood and guts. So that's why they extra options.
Well, I don't care. There are books with no blood or gore in them.
I know.
Let stories that call for blood and gore have blood and gore in them, just like the 90s.
Dalton, but I guess for whatever reason they decided to this is an extra incentive. You know what would be really cool? If you're paying $1 more and I want to get the gore, give me trading cards. Put it in, it's already polybag. Put a trading card in there. Make it more collectible.
Put a trading card in it. Make it lame.
Oh dear. Yeah, they would. They would.
I guess supposedly a lot of stores.
How about a trading card of Al
on
Gore?
these red band variants, and so now they're also going for a premium on your various auction sites.
Did you say a trading
just
card?
like
Dalton, hold on. Did you say a trading card of Al Gore?
Yeah.
Because you want to put more gore into it?
You get the gore, you get the trading card. Yeah, it's a win-win.
No. I need the Gore Vidal version.
There you go.
That actually would be better than Al Gore.
Oh, if it comes with William.
But seriously, this is the polybag. Anything that's in a polybag is always like a '90s gimmick. So might as well just either put like a trading card in there as an extra bonus, and you don't know which one it is. It's like a random one. So it makes it more collectible.
Yeah, I'm with VENKMAN on this. I don't see if people like it. Who cares? Do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
my criticism of the banding is the same as my criticism of the variant covers. The variant covers is a stupid idea because whatever is the best cover for the book should be on the book. Red bands is a stupid idea because whatever content makes sense for the comic should be in the comic.
And
uncensored.
I'll go one step forward, though. I'll go one step forward. The best book should be the interiors artist doing the cover A. That should always be the cover of the interior artist.
I agree with that because that is that's advertisement. That's telling.
I don't want
the cover tells.
Yeah, I don't want Greg Capullo on the cover and then getting Ronnie Rossmo in the inside or someone worse.
Yeah, I agree completely with that.
Yeah, that's fine. Here's the problem with the red band variants. They won't stop. So right now, it's great. You're getting 3 or 4 pages of new material or altered pages or whatever for $1.
Undead Quinn says that each comic should come with another Marvel comic. That would be a true horror.
Yeah. So then, 3 months from now, it'll be 2 pages for $2 more. And then 6 months from now, it'll be 1 page slightly altered, but it'll be called a red band.
But you don't have to buy them.
Yeah, okay. Are you even buying any Marvel books, or are you just bitching about them all weekly?
I'm
here we go.
Awful business practices. So, because again,
we've seen it. I'm not buying any Marvel books, and I reserve the right to bitch about them when I read them and they suck. Okay, I don't buy into that for anything. Because I'm okay. By the way,
you gotta support what you hate. Okay.
The last new book that I read it this afternoon. I finished up that awful Green Lantern story, and it was Suck City.
Oh, the Alan Scott one. Okay,
Alan Scott number 6 came out today. It was not good.
Back to the bad comic down we go.
By the way, it was better than any other issue of Alan Scott's Green Lantern, and it sucked.
Yep, back to the bad comic beatdown we go.
Yes, I think the worst of that series was the Spectre. I need to take God's vengeance. Grr, go get the bad guy, Green Lantern, and it's good to be gay. I mean that's not like I'm paraphrasing the dialogue, but that's basically the dialogue.
Yeah, no, it was, and mind you, this book is set in 1940s. And the Spectre literally had to pull rank and go ask the Archangel Michael if being gay was okay in the 90s, when it was definitely more accepted than it is in the 40s.
Yeah. So is Blood Hunt also going to turn out to be the ultimate bad dad book here?
Which one? Which book?
Blood Hunt.
As far as
Blood Hunt. Okay.
Yeah,
Blade versus daughter.
It's the bad dad trope.
I'm just wondering, is it even? Are they smart enough to make it where it's not Blade? Is someone else posing as Blade?
Well, let's see.
Because that'd be more interesting.
Do we know if
Maranya apparently posted a link she wants us to check out.
She wants to do subject.
Yeah.
Oh, she's talking about the link that actually for the actual DC.
I read the Boy Wonder. Yeah, the Boy Wonder.
Yeah, the Boy Wonder is that's their child. That's their son, Barbara and Dick's son.
I did not get that from what I read.
Yeah, apparently that's supposed to be. Yeah, that's the book about their son or child, whatever.
Nope. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I do know the book wasn't good, and you want to talk about a bad comic beatdown? I would definitely be there. Eric, you have been quiet for a little bit. Do you have anything to add or anything to
sometimes you just got to let the kids talk.
Yeah,
but you know your old pal JSG got on board with Green Lantern with issue 4. He said that he finally got it right and has liked it since then.
Okay. Well, I got to say the very least, this is a better issue than we've had.
Again, like I said, maybe. Okay, here's the thing: if none of these characters had ever existed before, maybe it is a good story for what he was trying to tell. But it's the same complaint we have about a lot of things that we're not allowed to have. When a character that's been straight for 80 years gets retconned to be gay. The 12 psychos on Twitter are allowed to rejoice and would do cartwheels if they weren't morbidly obese. But we can't complain when it's taken from us.
Right.
That's bullshit.
And I can't get a gay character that's actually worth caring about or a romance story that's worth caring about in the meantime.
Put a sock in an Undertaker.
but I was backing you up on the point because even if you are gay and you happen to not be ideologically brain rotted, you want characters that are worth caring about and or stories that are worth telling.
Yeah,
and I haven't seen either of those things.
I don't care how good the stories would be of gay Tim Drake. I didn't ask for that. I don't want that. That's not who he is. John Kent, a different story. You can say, well, I don't know how I know I think he had a girlfriend when he was in the future with the Legion, but what are you gonna do? But Tim Drake had 30 years of hound behavior. Mm-hmm. It was just taken away from him virtually in like 2 months of backup stories.
Well, according to the writers, hound behavior is just repression, don't you know?
Bernard. Oh, I know. He was introduced. Is that what was the band that did Stacy's Mom's Got It Going On? That was Bernard for Tim's mom. That's how they met each other.
Yep. Bill Willingham.
They said, so it's like, oh yeah, he was not happy about it. But he's Bill Willingham straight and white, so his opinion was discounted.
Yeah, he actually did a whole article about how I did not make him gay, guys. So what you gonna do? Bill Willingham, they're not gonna listen to Bill Willingham ever again after he pulled his the Fables is now in public domain.
Oof.
Once that happened, Bill Willingham is persona non grata to DC, I'm sure. What were you saying, RDV?
I said I did, and I'd do it again. I'd keep making him gay, just to spite everybody.
Who?
Who? What?
Who would you keep making gay?
I said Tim. But who's next though? Oliver Queen.
Oliver Queen.
Got the name for it.
Right?
As long as he's written as an interesting gay character with compelling relationships.
Wait.
Would they change his middle name to? Would they change his middle name to Old?
Wait.
No, I'm not. The line has to be drawn at Oliver Queen.
Did you notice that there's a gay Aquaman, there's a gay Green Arrow, there's a gay Superman, and a gay Robin?
See, this is where I agree with Richard. There is no next generation of DC heroes. It's going to
Wait.
stop with this one.
We can't because he can't
There's no one to
procreate.
procreate.
Yeah.
In fairness, Diana is immortal, and sometimes so is Clark. So I don't even know why we need to focus on their next generations.
Yeah, you know what we're talking about.
No, I know, but that's always bugged me when characters are either immortal or the next best thing to immortal, and we're worrying about the next generation of them. Like, no, they're freaking immortal. Why are you making a next generation of them anyway?
Generations are gay. So where are they going to go from there?
I mean,
and we don't know for sure that it's never been 100% established that Superman is immortal.
Actually, he ages slowly. It has been mentioned that. So he would seem immortal, but he actually ages slowly.
That's why I said the next best thing to immortal. My
Does
point
that mean
being,
he's going to trade Lois in on a younger model at some point.
well,
probably after
She'll
she
be
dies of
dead.
old age.
like in Batman Beyond, I don't know if Lois is even alive in that series. I mean, he kind of looks like he's got the Kingdom Come hairstyle, but he's kind of older too, and has been. So I mean, but as far as there's always gonna be a Batman because there's so many freaking Robins.
Yeah, but what was it? It was either Bleeding Fool or Bounding into Comics ran on April Fool's Day. An article. I mean, it was slightly tongue in cheek, but it was also kind of true at the same time. It was, basically looking at every single, offspring of the current DC heroes, and there's some. It seems like almost every single one is somewhere on the LGBTQ XYZ plus minus.
I mean, it makes for a good joke, but it's
It won't be long.
Yeah, it won't be long. Yeah. No, just me. Okay.
Is anybody using Jackson Hyde now, or is he, or other than I'm sure he'll be in a story or two next month, but
He hasn't really popped up anywhere that I've noticed.
And again, he was created gay, so I mean,
Well, that's why they don't use him, because they never actually use characters that are already canonically gay. They gayify characters that aren't.
Well, Slate and Salon won't give you write-ups for that.
That's true.
Well, I'm sure he's going to pop up somewhere this coming month.
Oh, that's what I said. And E was right. I said the only problem, the biggest problem with Jackson Hyde is like, why do all these guys look like they have dandruff?
Yeah, they're always. What is that?
Well, it's
Dalton, you're gay. What is going on with gay people that they have to do the head thing all the time?
It's a shorthand for being shy and awkward.
Wow,
visually speaking, that's what that's supposed to be.
You might want to repeat that in your head and then decide to phrase it differently next time.
What's going on with the head? Never mind.
No, I got it. It's fine.
Why do gay people like head?
So Marani is bringing up and Joshua Williams' Batman Robin number 12. It appears that Damian Wayne's going to get revenge on Bane for killing Alfred. But at this point, who cares? No one's reading that book.
That'd be a good time to bring Alfred back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then make Alfred evil. He's the Alfred who laughs.
No,
he'll be gay.
They did that.
Oh no!
They did that in the '60s. He lost his memory and became a criminal called the Outsider.
Yep. Why not?
Which, of course, is why they had him that way in Flashpoint.
Correct.
Yep.
Because someone.
But that would entail the DC writers knowing anything about their history or continuity. So they
what were you saying, Eric?
No, that's because somebody other than Pepperidge Farm remembered.
Yeah.
You mean it wasn't Jeremy Adams remembering?
I don't think he was working for them in 2011.
2011. Who was it? Scott Snyder?
I just read.
That's a good question.
Yeah. I just read the Trinity War, and they used the Outsider in that. I was like, the Outsider, and then it turned out I was like, because I was thinking the Outsiders was Alfred, and they were talking about who's the benefactor of this complete, all-encompassing evil. And I didn't put it together what ended up being the twist. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't read it yet, even though it's 10 years old now. But I should have seen it coming. It ended up being a pretty damn good twist. I'm actually excited to read the next chapter.
Don't feel bad.
Go figure. Justice League New 52, not bad.
Yeah. You and Alicia both didn't see it coming.
Well, we were talking about, we get to New 52 for a moment. One of the things talking about with I can't remember, was it you and me talking about this, Venk, where my biggest fear with Ultimate Spider-Man is if Harry ends up becoming a villain because Gwen gets killed or something like that, and then J. Jonah Jameson goes heel, because it's like they eventually revert to type. And then I segued that to the New 52.
Don't think we'll get that far.
I'm hoping we don't. But
I think the book will be canceled before that, because
New
Marvel
52
sucks.
started off with all this, all new, all different. But then by 2014, pretty much everybody was the way you remembered them before New 52 started.
Yeah.
It's sad we're looking back nostalgically on the New 52.
Oh, I didn't say I was looking back to nostalgic. I'm just saying that they always seem to default back to the original settings, and I'm hoping that because once you do that, why did you bother with the Ultimate if that indeed happens, which I'm hoping it doesn't, because I like a likable JJJ.
Yeah, I don't see Spider-Man being a menace in this universe.
No, and it's going to be awfully tempting to make Harry a villain, but I would like if they found a way not to do that too.
So here's my thought: Gwen will be a villain. She's working with Fisk.
But that actually would be an interesting twist.
Yeah.
Because no one would see that coming, but Harry, everybody will say, "Who didn't see this coming?" I did not.
Yeah. Well,
because continuity reset, basically.
Did you see the August solicits yet?
For Greg Capullo and
for the Ultimate Universe.
No, I wasn't looking at a lot of the. Okay. I looked through Elite Comic Geek, so I was going through Marvel, just clicking on what I want to pull and stuff.
Yeah.
The Life of Wolverine.
In Ultimate Spidey, we get the introduction of the Sinister Six, but it's led by Kingpin, but we don't know. But they're saying, we don't know who's in the Sinister Six.
Well, they already have Shocker. They've introduced him.
Yeah.
I don't know what other villains you're going to put in there, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and then in Ultimates, they're going to introduce Ultimate She-Hulk, and evidently she's got an army of Hulks with her to take down regular Hulk, who's bad because he was with the Masters gang.
The Maker.
Yeah, or the Maker, yeah. Master Maker.
And we talk about governors, not masters.
Governor, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I think you can make an exception in this case.
Nope.
They're the governors of evil.
Well, I got to get going because I got to go to bed because I got to wake up early for a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I will see you guys later.
Good luck.
All righty, Bubba.
Good night.
Bye.
Take care. Lazarus Pit was 3 years ago. Robin was supposedly had a chance to do it with the Lazarus Pit and let Alfred go. I don't even remember that. That was in Tom King's run.
So Lazarus Pit was a Mark Waid storyline, and that was like 2 years ago, I think.
Oh, okay.
Unless it was a different. Unless you're talking about in a Robin story, by Joshua Williamson, because he was back in Dinosaur Island, wherever they had the Lazarus Pit. Unless he's talking about like in the Tom King story, he had a. I didn't read the Tom King Batman. I skipped that. I read one issue and I said nope. And I think I did myself a good.
You didn't
miss anything.
Yeah. What's that? Uma Thurman? What?
Said you didn't do yourself a disservice. Hey, your boys won today, okay?
Yeah, it was actually a complete reversal of the game yesterday, where today they fell behind big early, and then rallied late, and then scored 4 runs in the 10th to win.
Mr. Breen, how are the Reds doing?
The opposite of good. What is the opposite of? They are the Marvel Comics red band variants of the National League right now. It's bloody, it's gory, and it's
yeah.
Oh,
well, I did read Ultimate Spider, not Ultimate, but Ultimate Black Panther.
Yeah,
and they went a different.
How was that?
Yeah, I was hoping they would have went with a better route as far as who the spy is, but they went a different route. I was like, oh, really? Because it's like here's your chance to break out and do things with characters that you can't do in the main continuity because you're doing Elseworlds. And I was hoping they would make Sherry be in the mole, but they went with someone else.
Oh, now there are rules even for
but
alternate universes.
I know, but honestly, dude, how awesome would that be? You find out that Shuri is actually
it'd have been great.
I know, it's because she bumped off her dad because she wants the throne, and now she tried to blame that would be great. It's like what's her name? Charles Xavier's ugly sister, trying to take just despises him in every way.
Well, we wouldn't have that if it wasn't for Grant Morrison.
I know, right?
Thanks, Grant.
Yeah.
Really. Thanks.
He granted us that pleasure.
He went to Publix?
I guess so.
Yeah. No, Eric, I was going to recommend a comic book for you if you hadn't seen it yet. I read the first issue and I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting. I think, I'm trying to remember the exact title here. I think it's called Sanction.
I knew it.
Yep.
I read it today.
Yeah.
Venkman found out about it. And so that's how I found out about it. So, we ordered it. The company we ordered it from, it got it a week later. So we didn't get it. It came out last week and we got it today. And I read that, and yeah, that's a neat little twist. It accidentally stumbles onto a serial killing that apparently no one once solved.
I also found
find out why, and just the whole setting, 1980s Soviet Union. After the first issue, I'm really digging it.
The way he found out that that he'd been fed a line of bullshit. I mean, just the complete happenstance way that happens, for lack of a better term. But yeah, that was very good.
You know what else I also found out about?
I'm going to say my only minor complaint is it does read a lot like a television script. I mean, I feel like I've watched the first episode of like an 8-episode Netflix series.
You know what though? I can live with that if it stays. It's like watching the first episode. We really didn't need that.
Yeah.
What were you saying, RDV?
No, we got distracted by your big giant head.
Why?
Because it was all that was there.
RDV put me on the.
I like doing that when people are paying attention. I like I do the ZACK time. I put them full screen so you read it. I was like,
Oh well, no. The thing is, I went shopping for a comic book and I found Sanction. That's what I was doing.
Eric, I was just gonna say I found out about Nights at the Schoolyard. I found out about you.
Huh?
You've never heard that song before?
Nights at the Schoolyard?
Jim Blossoms.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where you were going with that. So yeah.
Yeah, well, and then if you didn't read the Dutch miniseries and now Blood Squad 7, you're missing out. So
I do have Blood Squad. I didn't read Dutch, but I do.
Well, I mean, because Dutch is kind of the miniseries that I'm not going to say Blood Squad 7 is a sequel to it, but it's a companion to it.
Okay.
Adam Neal movie.
What?
Dutch.
Joe Casey bringing back characters more or less from 30 years ago, from 30 years ago from Image.
What do you like to do for fun? Grunt and wiggle? Yeah, me too. That was a good movie. I like Dutch.
It surprised me that it was a John Hughes movie. I'm like, did John Hughes actually just put his name on there? Is that it? It did not feel like a John Hughes movie. Yeah, he did that, and then Curly Sue, and then called it a day. But both of those are pretty good.
How long until he died afterwards?
I don't know, about 10 years or so, right? I think because those were in the 90s. I know he died like early 2000s. So.
Okay. Yeah, Dutch was like 91, I think was.
I could be wrong about the date, but I think it was around that time. Yeah, but that was a pretty fun movie.
So was Johnny.
Okay, so we derailed everything.
Well, it's just been nice to actually get to say something instead of listen to other people talk the whole entire time. I feel like Eric.
Oh, okay.
So I saw it O'Neill on a talk show the other night. Boy, he finally legitimately looks like an old man.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. I saw him at the end of Modern Family. That's when I saw him.
He started to look. I'm watching it. I'm binging it now. I'm on like season 5. You can start seeing it even in Modern Family.
Oh yeah, no question. But he looked like almost like an aging, distinguished looking guy because he was playing a successful. Because he had the old man, like the British pub hat, and he's just looking old. But he's well into his 70s.
Do you know what's crazy?
Well, I mean, to go along with that, Married with Children, the animated.
Do you want to know who?
Give it any chance?
I would love it.
Have you guys seen the old man?
It's happening. It's real.
Okay.
If you watch the show The Old Man with the Jeff Bridges, the spy show on Netflix.
I meant to.
So Joel Gray's in there. If you don't know who Joel Gray is, if you watch
93.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is 55 or something in Rita Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah. They made him look like that old Asian guy. Yeah.
Well, I remember him also as the sniveling DA in LA Confidential when he gets hung outside the window by his
Okay, when I found out that was him, I was like, and he was only 55 years old. I was like, dang, this guy has just been around forever.
92.
Yep. Well, Broadway.
Wow. Yeah. He was in 3 episodes of The Old
Man. They hired him to play Chun, right?
Yeah.
Chun.
Yeah,
they hired him to play Chun in Remo Williams because he's a dancer and he could do all the moves real smooth. And it's not martial arts that he knows. You know, he's a dancer. And by the way, that's actually how Michelle Yeoh got her career. She was a dancer. And she says, well, your fighting is a dance. I could do that. Teach me the moves, and boom. And then she became a martial arts action star, not knowing martial arts. She just learned how to do the dance moves.
And of course, a casting decision that could never be made today.
Oh, yeah, of course. White guy playing an Asian dude. Fuck that. Although I got it ever since I first saw it on the big screen, because, yes, I was 15 and I saw Remo Williams on the big screen. I was impressed. When Fred Ward and he are fighting in the apartment, Fred Ward picks up a chair, swings it, misses him, and then does this bit, and Joel Gray just goes zip right. He almost does like where he's even with his knees, and he gets back up. It was so impressive.
So bigger.
Oh, hold on, Eric wanted to say something.
No, I was just going to say something real quick. I said I was at a Walgreens today trying to get some supplements for my Don't Go Crazy pills. And I see these people I saw this girl that looked relatively familiar. I go, she looks like a girl that grew up down the street in our neighborhood. And it turned out to be her with her mom, who was, I said, my mom would be 85 if she was, no, she'd be 86 next month if she was still alive. This girl's mom was at least 6 or 7 years older than my mom. And she was, like I said, and she was with her. So you're like running into people from your pet. You go, holy shit, they're still alive,
right?
Yep.
I mean, well into her 90s. Said, yeah, good run.
Yeah,
that's all I said. And then of course, since my brother's a record store, what does a 93-year-old lady say? I've got some old records. It's like, of course you do. Because I swear to God, if you walked up to the door at Phil's Records, where it is, with a box of Blue Note Jazz, if you walked through the door, they would turn into Barry Manilow, Jerry Vale, and the South Pacific soundtrack.
Yeah. No, maybe she's got some like 1930s, 1940s records.
That doesn't make that story any better.
Well, I was gonna say biggest movie what if? Would you rather had the sequel to Remo Williams or Buckaroo Banzai versus the World Crime Lord?
Remo Williams. I I know there's a whole freaking fan base for Buckaroo Banzai. I am not it. Give me Remo Williams. I'm a Fred Ward fan. And I get it. You know, we get what's his name? He's pissing all the liberals off nowadays. Buckaroo Banzai.
Peter Weller.
What?
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah. For some reason, I was thinking James Woods, but you're right. It's Peter Weller. No, I'm gonna go Remo Williams all day on that one. How about you guys?
Oh, it's a tough call, but I've always wanted to see Buckaroo Banzai versus the World Crime League.
I would say anything but better than Remo Williams. Really, Williams was okay.
I
would see Buckaroo Bonanza, whatever it's called.
Yeah, you're right. It's Buckaroo Bananas. Yes.
I mean, does Jeff Goldblum in there?
You've never seen Buckaroo Banzai across the eighth and a half dimension?
Is Jeff Goldblum in there?
Yes.
I've probably seen clips, and then I purged it from my memory because I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, Clancy Brown, John Lithgow. Oh shoot, the one kind of tall guy played the scientist in Fast Science of Ridgemont. Was he in that?
He's a that guy.
Yeah,
he's the 4K. He's the 4K guy. 4K. Where the fuck is 4K? That guy.
God, he died like 18 years ago.
This guy was also in Ghost, right? He's on the subway train.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Vincent Schiavelli. That's who I'm thinking of. Yeah, Vincent Schiavelli. He's also an alien in it. Carl Lumbey is also in it. If you watched Alias, he was Sydney's sidekick, or not sidekick, but partner.
Look, I know I'm in the minority on that. It's just one of those things that never glommed for me, you know, the Buckaroo Banzai thing. I know I'm in the minority, but yeah, I just didn't care for it. God bless you guys. Sorry. Yeah. But there you go. Yeah. My
I don't think I've ever seen it, so I don't have a dog in the fight.
I would say,
your Rocky Horror Picture Show, I'm Buckaroo Banzai.
Forget both those movies. Give me the sequel, Henry Cavill and Man from U.N.C.L.E. too.
Oh yeah, no,
I'd rather have that.
And I'm pretty sure the time has passed for that sequel too. Yeah, that one bums me out a lot.
But I think all three of us, at least. I don't know. Did you ever see Man from U.N.C.L.E., the movie, Eric?
I did, and I'm kind of surprised that it bombed. Not because it was the Man from U.N.C.L.E., because I don't know how large percentage of the audience even knew there was a show, because that was the last reunion movie had been almost 40 years in the rearview mirror by then.
Mm-hmm.
But because Henry Cavill is engaging, I forgot who the other guy was.
Arnie Hammer.
Yeah. And I know that the lead girl was like one of the modern smoke shows.
Yeah.
And I thought that would work. Well, but it didn't. I mean, I thought it was a good movie. And I don't remember well enough to know if it resembled the series, but I said I would have liked to have seen another one.
Yeah,
but
me
it bombed,
too.
So what are you gonna do?
It kind of loosely did. I mean, the ending sets up where you would have had the sequel, which would have been much closer to the television show. Because oh shoot, now I'm blanking on the British guy.
The guy that played Waverly.
Yeah. Who's had kind of a mini renaissance in his career with a bunch of supporting actor roles lately. He was in Operation Fortune. He was in Dungeons and Dragons. Come on, help me out here.
Hugh Grant.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Hugh Grant. Yeah, Hugh Grant was going to play Weatherly and
Waverly.
You had the other three, so it was gonna. I think that would have more closely tied to
the other three.
Series, but,
so Alicia Vikander was the girl I was.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wanted the sequel of Tomb Raider.
I didn't. I thought it was kind of bland. I didn't hate it. I just thought it was kind of bland.
That was the problem. Yeah, it
Go
was.
ahead, Eric.
It was bland.
How could a movie with Boyd Crowder and McNutty be bland?
Yeah.
And
Well,
by McNulty, I mean McNulty from The Wire. That should never happen because both those actors are. Do you remember? Okay, the guy that played McNulty. Because I know you guys. Okay, have you seen The Wire?
I've seen pieces of it. It's one of those that I have not sat down and actively watched, and I don't know why.
I do, but yeah, I don't want to upset you. You know who else? You know who else he was in movies? In a movie, I guarantee all three of us have seen. He was Jigsaw in the Ray Stevenson Punisher movie.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he was batshit nuts in that, and he's a great actor. He was terrific as McNulty. He was in a show called The Hour. It was made by the BBC. It was like the mid 50s television station.
Yeah.
Because that, I know they de-emphasized the sex appeal of the Lara Croft character for this movie, and now I think the new version of her is basically a straight up dude.
In the movie you can't. I'm sorry, but Alicia Vikander in a tight tank top and in the good pants, they can't. I'm sorry, it was a fail. Yeah, they didn't make her Angelina Jolie, but Alicia Vikander in that outfit was pretty damn hot.
Yeah, but again, the problem was the plot was just way too just bland and
generic.
They tried.
Everybody loved Uncharted though, which was the same.
Okay, hold on. Let LK finish what he was saying, and then you jump in there, RDV.
I was going to say they tried to make it more like a recent James Bond movie than they did a Lara Croft adventure, and it just didn't work.
So the movie was based off the reboot games.
Yeah,
which were fun. And this is honestly, this is supposed to be a prequel. So she's not going to have the huge honkers like what's her name?
What was she? Was she 15 in this version?
She was like 19. The other one.
How the hell was she trying to play it?
Okay, I mean that's irrelevant though to it being written well and having actually exciting direction.
I don't see how it wasn't written well because the same people say it wasn't written well will go and praise Uncharted, the Tom Holland movie, and say, "Oh, that was awesome."
Who is praising that?
Yeah, who was praising that? I saw that once, and I was like, "Okay."
I haven't heard anybody say a good thing.
I'll praise it. I didn't watch it, but I'll praise it if you want.
That is actually the best review I've heard about that Tom Holland piece of shit.
You want to know who's praising it?
Oh, by the way, do we have anybody in the chat? Because we have literally not had since 12:15.
There's a lot of people watching.
It's shown we still have 12 people here.
I know, but nobody's talking. So I was wondering if there's something wrong with the chat. But
maybe we're simulcasting Madman in a box and they all fell asleep.
I have heard nothing good about Uncharted with Tom Holland.
Supposedly it's supposed to be getting a sequel. That's all I know.
Well, I press X to doubt on that one. No, I was going to mention too, though. Here's the thing about like the Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie, and it's something I don't think gets talked about much. Guy Ritchie makes good films, but has he had more than one hit?
I think he has, but I don't know. I don't think he has those kind of hits.
Yeah, his two most recent, Operation Fortune, which again I enjoyed. I saw it in the theater.
You and I both praised that one, yes.
And it unfortunately did very poorly at the box office. And then the most recent, Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which I liked. It wasn't as I didn't have as great a time with it as I did Operation Fortune.
See, I'm the opposite.
It did poorly in the box office.
You liked Ungentlemanly Warfare?
Yeah, compared to the Hugh Grant movie.
Yeah. I heard, I don't know how much this really mattered, but I heard Richardson or whatever his name is, Reacher, messed up by going political like right before the opening. So it's
did. I mean, the problem is it's hard to quantify that stuff. I mean, because again, it's to make so to have a movie be successful, you have to have normies. I'll say Black Richard go see it.
Yeah.
Diehard fans, for certain genres can, get a movie, to maybe break even, but you've got to have that extra wave of people. And again, those people aren't usually, as much as we wanted to, say otherwise, most of those people aren't actively on social media. So who knows what percentage of those people.
True, but to E's point, and it's something I think we might talk about earlier today. There is too much competition for all forms of entertainment for anybody to risk alienating any percentage, or in most cases, half of the audience. Mm-hmm. It's the old Republicans buy sneakers too. Now, let's just say that only, say 20% of people are on social media enough to know what's going on. He pisses off half of those people. Let's just say it's split down the middle.
Yeah.
And half of the people that he pissed off say, you know what? I am so effing sick of being called a Nazi for simply not wanting open borders, child mutilation, blah, 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 blah. He said, I'm not going. And, that it may not seem like a lot, but, maybe, what would have been 21 million becomes 16. I mean, it's enough to move the needle, not a ton, but, they say, but look at how, comic sales are in the effing toilet, because, people might go out and buy stuff still, but then they go, oh, this is terrible. And they stop. A lot of a successful movie, one of the tenets of a successful movie is you go back and see it again. Or, so I said, well, so if the movie's bad, you don't go a second time. But if somebody, pisses off a large chunk of the audience, they don't go the first.
Yeah. Now, I mean, one counterpoint, and again, it's not the perfect example, but if you remember Barbie, you had multiple of those actresses coming out saying dumb, idiotic stuff a week or two or even 3 weeks before the movie came out. Mm-hmm. And I know I thought, oh wow, this is gonna help, sink it to some degree, and it didn't, because majority of the women didn't hear what they said.
I think the reason Barbie did so well because it's freaking Barbie. They don't care what the message
is. And if you look like Margot Robbie saying stupid things, you get a pass.
Yeah. Two things. Hold on, LK. Let me chime in. Two things on that. One, because it's Barbie. RDV's right. At the time, also, it was the family-friendly programming for that particular period. Also, the message that they were throwing out coincided with the movie. So if you were okay with the message, you're okay with the movie. With Reacher, he comes out and he just says, "Fuck you," half the audience. I mean, there wasn't any, well, yeah, you got to look at these people. They were horrible killers, but they were killing Nazis. So it's kind of, I don't like the violence, but they're trying to stop a more evil kind of violence. That's one thing. You give that message, fine. It has something to do with the movie. But he was flat out going, if you don't want to kill Jews, you're evil. So.
And one thing about the Barbie thing, yes, everything you guys said was true, but there's also the I'm going to call it, for lack of a better term, the fluke factor. Barbie could have come out 6 months earlier or 6 months later and done middling at best box office. Oppenheimer could have come out at a different time and done no business. Somehow, both of those connected to something, and then it became almost like a thing. I mean, there were hundreds of thousands of people that were going to both of those movies because of some kind of FOMO, and it elevated both of those to unbelievable box office success. That's, because there have been plenty of movies that have struck all the right chords that didn't do a third of the business of either one of those movies, and both of those at the same time explode because everybody wanted to see them both.
Yeah. Well, one thing, I mean, I definitely give Barbie a lot of credit for is, outside of when the actresses popped off, their viral marketing was brilliant in terms of generating buzz and stuff for the movie, where, like, I don't know if you'd heard, but, like, at various locations, they, created, Barbie dream houses for people to go through. A lot of the other stuff. And if you remember the trailers too, the trailers were all, full of fun and light and hid all of the stuff, all the message stuff that was in the plot of the movie. The trailer is completely different from what the movie turns out to actually be. So they did a brilliant job in terms of marketing.
But obviously it didn't get too polarizing, because people by and large liked the movie. If it had been, if they had hidden an agenda that smacked you in the face when you went, word of mouth would have gotten out and it would have died.
So his Guy Ritchie's latest movie in the Ministry of Ungodly Warfare.
Yeah.
I was reading the reviews on IMDb and some people are saying like, oh my gosh, this movie is just so bad. It's just them killing Nazis, and like they're just like, and some people there are people who are sympathetic to the Nazis.
Well, yeah, because they are on the proper side of the Israel-Hamas conflict.
I know, politics. So that really can help it. But I mean, but not only that, it's just like Guy Ritchie's movies, they're good, but they flop for whatever reason. Look at The Covenant.
Well, okay, let me finish. Let me finish my point from earlier. Yeah. Guy Ritchie has the kind of success like he might not have box office success, but you might get awards, and you might get and he's good on streaming. There was always that secondary market, and he's good at that. I am actually more surprised that he's not put on Netflix or something like that more so than he is in.
Well,
also, let's get MK's comment here.
There's a series I haven't watched yet. I'm meaning to get to is The Gentleman.
I haven't seen that yet. The movie was great. Reminds me of the animated Spider-Man movies, Punking Peter, the BLM trans stuff. It was brief, but it was still there. As a comic fan, I don't care about that.
Oh, Into the Spider-Verse?
Nonsense. Yeah, the Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
It was, the sign on the wall. MK saying, I have a question. Do you think Wolverine and Deadpool will beat Joker in the box office for Rated R comic movie? Obviously, the Joker was a phenomenon. Whether or not I think Wolverine and Deadpool has potential, because for some reason Deadpool is one of those R-rated movies that seems okay for family. Not that it is, but there just are those kind of movies. Like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is an R-rated movie, but people don't think of it that way. And even though Deadpool has the violence and the cussing, I have seen and heard people are A-okay with having their kids watch it for some reason.
Honestly, I think the Joker, no matter what, it was a fluke. I think it's gonna flop just like every DC movie that's coming out.
Well, it's gonna be interesting now. I'm going to weigh on the Deadpool Wolverine thing. I think that movie's going to do gangbusters, because everybody loves Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Everybody loves Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Yeah.
And making a buddy picture with those two, that there's going to be scenes where they're literally tearing each other to pieces because they can both reform. It's just going to be mindless fun. I think it's going to be huge. But one more point back to the you said the girls popping off for Barbie. One of the things that the difference, like I said, Alan Richardson just attacked half the country. What Margot Robbie and the other ladies from that movie did is something that a lot of people do, where they go out and say things that you can kind of count on not actually being there when you see the product, because they're trying to. You have to convince the 12 psychos on Twitter to go check something out that they might actually spend money on. So you say these things, like it's like with the Daredevil, Kingpin's a Trump allegory, which he wasn't. It was one line in one episode, but they were trying to get the wokes on board, and the people like us, they know we're going to come along for the ride. But the other people, I say, it's like the left boycotts at the drop of a hat. The right has just started doing that. Thank you, Dylan Mulvaney. In Goya Foods, who on the other side, on the right side of it. But so I said, I think that's, and we kind of know when it's BS to convince other people. So I said I most people just don't even pay attention to that. But if you get called, if you have somebody telling you, just literally attacking half the country and just like Trump and the police and stuff like that, that will cost you viewers. I mean, I said there's, I think it'll eat into Reacher season 3's audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of good movies. The Last Voyage of the Demeter was it
the what?
The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Oh yeah, I like that movie. That was pretty good.
But I haven't looked at the budget, but it probably flopped because
it did. It was a big flop. Another a movie. I don't know if it flopped. I don't think it was a hit. Speaking of vampires, Abigail was a lot of fun. I thought that one was pretty decent. I just watched a movie called The Last Stop in Yuma, which turned out to be entertaining.
The other thing, and I've noticed that why some movies might be flopping at the box office, because you're charging like $21 a night.
Yeah, but I go during the daytime.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get on that AMC thing where you get 2 or 3 movies a week for free. Okay, for 20,
yeah, 30. There's $30 and you get like 3 per month.
Yeah, well, I guess it's not for free, but yeah, you get it's 3 per week.
Was it per week? I thought it was 3 per month.
Three movies a week for like I thought it was like 25, but I could be wrong. Still, $30 would be good. I'm okay with that even. The Imaginary and If seem similar, but one is horror and the other is like a comedy. I'm not going to watch Reacher season 3.
You've also got Harold and the Purple Crayon coming out. I know if you saw the trailer for that, but the lead character works at an Ollie's.
Oh, that's fun.
So the next Guy Ritchie movie coming out is next year, January. That's because it's going to have Jake Gyllenhaal, Henry Cavill, Isaac Gonzalez, and Rosamund Pike. It's supposed to be an American action movie.
Okay, wasn't there a Guy Ritchie movie with Jake Gyllenhaal? He was in the army or something like that.
Covenant. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, and that flopped.
Okay, yeah,
but that was solid, dude. I love that.
There's a lot of good. Everybody who's seen it says The Fall Guy is just thoroughly entertaining. Flopped at the box office.
Yeah. Well, because it shouldn't have been named.
You have a good one, Undead Quinn. Take care. Be safe, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, it just seems like majority of people would rather just watch a movie at home or wait for it to hit.
I want to see it on the big screen, but I get it. I get it because you got to deal with the cell phones, you got to deal with the talkers, you got to deal with the kids, and there's a lot of bullshit to it.
I mean, like even in my small town here, my matinees are $10. $10 to $12, and you pay that.
That's a month.
You add on, popcorn and a drink, and suddenly you're looking at a $25, $30, outing.
Also, they've made it the bigger TVs are a lot more affordable. You can get the 75 inches TVs, they're for like
and you can get a good sound system, and $10 is the price of a month of name your streaming service. It's movies are becoming less and less of a deal, and I think that's why we're getting less and less personal movies on the big screen, and we're getting the
other thing is that nobody has money to go and splurge and do stuff. Nobody's buying new cars. Nobody's getting you're not going on trips because gas prices are insane. So the luxuries are kind of going away.
Yeah. F Joe Biden. Yeah.
yeah. That was the other thing about the Covenant. It was a big, huge F Joe Biden. The way it makes fun of how it criticizes him how he pulled us out of Iraq so fast, so horribly at the end.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why the guy
Afghanistan.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's all one giant clusterfuck.
Yep.
This here. I think this call it different country. It's the same shit.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at Guy Ritchie's last few directed movies, the last one that I would say, oh God, I didn't realize. Did you realize he directed Aladdin?
Yeah.
That's probably his last quote unquote hit. I mean, I don't know how well Wrath of Man did at the box office.
None of his movies do well. Statham, Before none of his movies really do well.
The Sherlock Holmes sequel.
Yeah.
So
I mean, not as. I mean, they pay for themselves sometimes. Beekeeper didn't. Beekeeper was stupid fun.
Oh, yeah. Beekeeper's not his. He didn't write or direct that.
No, I was talking about Statham.
Oh, Jason Statham.
Yeah. The Beekeeper was dumb. It was just a dumb movie, and it was entertaining from beginning to end.
You know why? Because I felt like I was watching it for the first time in Transporter.
Yeah. Let's see. MK saying there's an older movie in the early 2000s called The Covenant. It had the guy who's Winter Soldier about male sorcerers. I remember that.
That was David
I
Ayer.
remember that. Yeah. That was a while back. It is 2 hours for this live stream, and I've been sitting in this hardwood floor, and I would love to rest my ass.
Why don't you get a beanbag?
Get a cushion.
I will when I got money. I decided to spend my money this week on about 500 comics for the auction. So
build a chair out of those comics.
But for now, I need to stand up. If you guys want to continue, go on ahead. I'm going to bounce. That being said, what's tomorrow's Thursday? I will figure out something.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we might just do this again and have a hangout stream and such. But I do have to stand up. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no worries.
I went to I went to use the little boys' room, and I took all my pills, and between that and being old, it took me a second to remember how to put one foot in front of the other. It was weird. I said I feel like I've almost got a buzz.
That good or bad for you?
Well, it's not. It's all over. It's over the counter. Sorry. Plus, half and half. But right now it's I don't have that fog in my head that I've had for the last several days. So I'll take
that's good. Candy machines inside your head.
Like I said, you guys keep it going if you want.
I got a little more time.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just try to keep it under 5. Because otherwise I can't edit it. After it goes over 5 hours, I can't edit the video anymore.
So if we go $4.99 and then
$4.59, but you do. It's 5 hours, not dollars.
I know. That's my whole plan is I'm gonna go over 5 hours.
All right, you guys have a good time. I need to rest my like I said, I need to rest my ass and my back. So you guys have a good time. See ya. Bye. Oh shit. Okay, let me do this. I almost turned off the stream. Here we go.
You almost pulled the VENKMAN.
Yeah, leave the studio, not the.
Okay, put us in the. Yeah, there you go. 13 games over 500. Okay, how? I mean, I knew they'd be good. I knew they'd be better, but I didn't see this.
Who's that?
The Royals.
The Royals. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I've been following that closely. I know Salvador Perez has been a big catalyst for them from what I've read.
Cole Reagans, I think his name is, although he's only one game over 500, has been really good. Seth Lugo is like 20-1 already.
Yeah.
Waka finally started getting people out. They're obviously Bobby Witt, but this is amazing that because I made the prediction. I said they can win this division. I got laughed at, and the only reason why I'm not right so far is freaking Cleveland is out of their minds.
Yeah, no, I was watching that game today because the Mets went up 3-0, and then it looked like Quintana was cruising, and then he gives up the 3-run home run, and that just kind of opened the floodgates for the Indians.
Another ref ejected another person again. Ole Marmol. Honestly, I'm tired of people just arguing. I want to see somebody punch a ref.
Well, Pete Rose pushed one and got 30 days.
Yeah, if you punch a ref or even put your hands on him, you're looking at a lengthy suspension, especially now.
But to VENKMAN's point,
yeah,
these They got to do something because these umpires, like I said, the two worst are check boxes and can't be fired.
Well, I'll just say you can allegedly find them outside of the baseball diamond.
Yeah.
But God, I hope that never happens because, like I said, somebody.
I hope it says call that a ball as it hits him in the balls.
Some umpire in some kid's game or something got killed by a pissed off parent.
Oh yeah, there's
hit him with a bat or something, and I mean, didn't mean to kill him, but did.
I know. Yeah. I'm just like these guys. Angel Hernandez must go into witness protection because how they have not been attacked by just fans alone.
Oh,
no. I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, it's part of. It's the good side of America. I mean, thing is, go look around the rest of the world, and these situations happen a lot and are a whole lot worse. I mean, there's been soccer referees that have been killed in Brazil and Argentina.
Yeah, but mostly by their governments.
Well, and by fans too. And you get to whenever I always laugh whenever people bring up some kind of racism issue in American sports. It's like, you don't listen to the soccer chants in Italy. You don't listen to the ultras in Brazil or Russia or all the other parts of the world that are just 100 times worse than anything going on in the U.S.
Can I explain that in 3 words?
Yeah.
Queers for Palestine.
It's
that same mentality. Yeah. It's that all the bad is right here. And where do you learn that? Well, let's just say your parents spent a shitload of money so you could.
Yeah. But so I mean, I always just laugh at that stuff. But I mean, same time you think Angel Hernandez is bad. I'll see you one Eric Gregg. So
I took Eric Gregg downtown when I worked for Drawbridge, and I'm pretty sure that the van was tilting. That was a nice man, but large.
Oh, his weight definitely got out of control.
But I'll tell you what, in all seriousness, I'm old enough to have been very familiar with his career. He was better than the other. He was better than Angel Hernandez or CB Buckner. Those guys are just god awful.
Yeah. Well, still had some of the great ones of the past. Good old Country Joe West. I remember him. He loved tossing people out of games.
But I said, but you watch an Angel Hernandez game, especially when there should at least be, he should never be behind the plate. I mean, my God, he did. Or how about CB Buckner the other day? 3-hour rain delay with 2 outs in the ninth. So what does he do? He calls a called third strike 6 inches outside the first batter after they resume the game.
He had a buffet to go to, Well,
CB's problem isn't his weight, but he had somewhere to be. That's for sure.
Yeah. What's funny too is, with now, every game's got the strike box on it, so you have a better idea of what is and quote unquote is and isn't a strike. Versus years past where I think watching older games, not having that box, you're a little bit more forgiving on one side or the other. With that,
can't they just call the replay on the Triton? Like they do in WE, it's like,
Well, they have replay, but they still get about half of them wrong.
Yeah, well,
and that half benefits the
can't be used for balls and strikes
calls.
Right. And each team only gets one challenge unless they win that challenge, and then they get it back. They get it back. I read at least one Ron Luciano book. Yeah, he was a famous character. Not necessarily a great umpire. He was okay, but he was a larger than life character, which is why so many people know about him.
If somebody had been book, and I'm sure it probably happened somewhere, where like a Dean Martin type special had Ron Luciano and his best pal Earl Weaver together, because if I'm not mistaken, those two were legendary.
Oh yeah,
for their confrontations.
Oh yes, very much so. We could. I'm sure I could pull up a video. We could see one. What's interesting is, I mean, at least with baseball, the increased athleticism, I don't think, has made the game more difficult to umpire or officiate. Watching basketball, and it's really bad at the college level now in terms of the calls. But I mean, it's really been seeping into the pros too. I mean, especially, teams only have one challenge, and they've got to pick the right moment to use it. But I think a lot of the problems is because the players are more athletic or more talented.
Okay, you were right the first time. One of the problems with officiating today is, the players are freakishly athletic and but do not know how to play the sports that they're playing. Because I said, baseball players, like I said, when you're trying to go from second to third on a grounder to short, just like not knowing the game situation, not changing your approach with 2 strikes. I could go on, and I said it makes it hard. I said when the players don't know what they're doing, it makes it tougher on the umpires because wait a minute, that's what. Oh, God damn.
Well, the anticipation part, yeah, I've heard that in the past where an umpire, an official is expecting a player to do a certain thing because based on years of training, when you see this is what's going to happen, and when it doesn't happen, you get locked up in terms of oh, I'm supposed to make that call, but I wasn't expecting it, so I'm not ready for it. And so I was going to ask, so which red players are you referring to that can't go from second to third?
Dela Cruz does it all. Well, for one thing, a red has to get to second. Yeah, that's not happening much these days. But it doesn't matter there's so few teams that know fundamentals now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Minnesota used to be very good at that. I'm sure they've let that slip through the cracks over the years. Got a case in point. Do you remember when David Ortiz was a Twin?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember when David Ortiz was a Mariner before he changed his name to Ortiz?
That I don't remember. I remember him.
I have a Bowman baseball card of his when he had his old name. But
yeah,
that's where I was going with that. Was he his first year as a Red Sox, he laid down a bunt and beat it out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, how? And he goes,
oh yeah, he was not a home run hitter when he was with the Twins.
Well, it wasn't that. Well, he was, but not to what he became. He had 20 home runs the year they released him. But his response was, in the Minnesota Twins organization, you did not get promoted from like A to AA if you couldn't bunt.
Yeah.
And how many teams now can't get it down a sacrifice bunt to save their lives? Not that anybody uses them anymore, but
yeah, it's a rare thing because again, that's where all the analytics have come in terms of wasting it out, versus swinging away.
The same analytics that give you more credit for making a hard out than a bloop single.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I said, exit velos, everything. Because I remember, I don't know if it was Reggie Jackson, but I said, man, I hear these kids saying, he goes, man, I'm 0 for 20, but my exit velo, did you see that? It's like, bitch, you're 0 for 20. It's like it's like, I wish Bob Gibson were still alive so he could just walk up to Blake Snell and slap the taste out of his mouth. Said more Cy Young awards than 8th innings pitched. Yeah, motherfucker. It's like,
hey, now I gotta defend my guy. Now.
I'm pretty sure he got lit up again today, didn't he?
Well, I know he came off they brought him off. Well, I still call it the DL, but the injured list.
Yeah.
I didn't know if he started today or if he was going to start tomorrow. Let me see here. Where's my box score? Come on. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Let me see here. But yeah, oh yeah, no crap. Yeah, he did start 3 1/3, 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. Great.
This isn't me needling you,
Yeah.
but good. I can't stand him.
Yeah, but I mean, what a turnaround. So last night our bullpen blew it. Today our bullpen goes 6 2/3, gives up 2 hits, 1 walk, strikes out 3, 7, strikes out 10, gives up 1 run. It was a home run.
But yeah, I know I've been banging on the Reds, but 5 of their starting offense, 5 of the 9 guys that were supposed to be the starting offense are out right now. You can't win with that.
Yeah. Oh, we get to face Paul Skeens tomorrow.
Good luck with that.
They're doing a King of the Hill reboot.
What's that?
They're doing a King of the Hill reboot.
Oh yeah,
and Bobby Hill's gonna be 21 years old.
Well, I mean, let's see. 1, 2, 3 of the voice actors are dead,
right?
Yeah, because the actress that did Laureline is dead. Laureline's boyfriend was played by Tom Petty, and I want to say, isn't the guy who did Dale? Didn't he pass away?
Yeah,
as well?
I think so. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, I don't have a lot of hope for it. But I mean, if Mike Judge is involved in it, yeah, I mean, there's a chance because I mean, he did a good job with the Beavis and Butthead one.
It's a grown up Bobby. It's gonna be on Hulu apparently.
Yeah. So Breen, yeah, I've got real concerns about Skeens though, just because I don't think you can throw as hard as he does as a starting pitcher and survive. We've seen it too much. I mean, look at what happened. I can't believe I'm already blanking on the name, but it's been so long since he pitched. The kid with the Nationals,
Strasburg.
Yeah, Strasburg.
No, you're right. I mean, I said
Kerry Wood.
If he doesn't, it probably won't happen in his 3rd career start. But yeah, I mean, just start a Tommy John countdown clock.
Yeah,
because it's going to happen because these guys, since no one cares about anything but spin rates, which are bad on the arms, and maximum velocity, these guys, these max effort guys that said, give me 5 or 6 100 pitches and your night is done. Well, did you see the box score that somebody posted the other night for the Braves Giants game from 1961 or 2? I can't remember which one it was, but 16-inning game.
Yeah.
No relievers.
Yeah. What was it? Spawn versus Marichal,
yeah.
Right?
And Spawn was already in his 40s.
Yeah.
Now, I said, and like Ozzie Guillen said, you can't pull fat. These guys are jacked up. Like they're like rubber bands that have been left out in the sun. They're gonna snap.
Mm-hmm.
And unless baseball is willing to, I mean, it would take a generation to course correct, because these kids, I mean, you're getting this shit, in like B League, talking like from puberty, sometimes even pre-puberty, these kids are being groomed to throw as hard as they can up to a point and then leave the game, and it sucks because I said, you see people coming out of games during no hitters, and it sucks. And pitcher, I said, it's not. It's at this point, it's almost not even a question of if, but when.
Yeah. So MK here gave us a trivia question. I used to know this once upon a time, but I think it was beaten sometime in the 2000s. I want to say it was like 25 innings.
I think 26.
You think 26? Okay, yeah. MK, you got to give us the answer because I don't feel like looking it up right now.
So somebody on Instagram says when you finally realize why you watch WE, and it's Sam Beckett from Quantum Leap. He opens up the mirror and he shows the Down syndrome guy. That's what
you talking about Eugene?
Yeah, Eugene. Yeah,
I heard a great Eugene story the other day. I'm talking about
not Eugene wrestler. No. This is like it's a clip from Quantum Leap where he finds like leaps into a kid is Down syndrome.
Oh, okay. I thought
They're using that. They're using that. The caption says when you finally realize why you watched WWE.
Okay, but that does remind us of this guy that has a small YouTube channel, and he came in and interviewed my brother one time for for the record store, but he also does some wrestling stuff, and he was interviewing the guy that played Eugene, and he said he got real drunk one night, and he tried to sext his girlfriend and said, "I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that." Well, her name was, I think, Shelly, and it was right next to Shelton Benjamin on his phone. Guess who got the text?
Oh no!
He shows up the next night, and Benjamin comes up and goes, "You ain't putting that nowhere." It's
Oh God. Shoot, what was I gonna say? I mean, there's so many great old time baseball stories. I mean, there's the fun one. I think it was the 4th of July. It was supposed to be a 4th of July doubleheader between the Braves and the Mets. And this was back in the 80s. There was a rain delay for 2 hours or so. They got the first game in. There was supposed to be a fireworks show at the end after the doubleheader. And then the first game went into extra innings. Second game goes into like 14, 15 innings. It's like 1:30 in the morning. There's like maybe 3,000 people left in the park. But gosh darn it, they're going to give them that fireworks show anyways. And Braves light off all the fireworks. Next thing you know, the police and fire departments are getting calls from all across the area thinking that, Atlanta's being bombed right now.
I'm pretty sure it was later than that because I think the second game went 18. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the game where the Braves had to use Rick Camp as a pinch hitter? He had the 0.83 lifetime average, and he homered.
Yeah, it's possible. If I still had my Baseball Hall of Shame books, I would go pluck it out. I mean, that was where I learned so much of this oddball stuff. What a great fun set of books. They were amazing. Because I think they came out with like three volumes, and they were Baseball Hall of Shame, and it was just all these just funny, offbeat, odd incidents. I mean, there was another one where one time in spring training, Bob Gibson got tossed out of a spring training game because first guy comes up, starts to dig in. Bob Gibson doesn't like it when you dig in.
Nope.
Threw one right underneath his chin. Guy went back, dug back in, wasn't going to give in. Gibson throws one behind him. Guy doesn't give in, digs right back in. Finally, Gibson has enough and plunks him in the back. Got tossed.
There was a game, Pirates Reds, where Doc Ellis was basically
blitzed out of his mind.
No, not this time. He was coked up when he threw his no hitter. Apparently, didn't remember that he threw one. But he was mad at the Reds for some reason, so he just threw it every one. And I think after he let off the game like 4 hit batsmen, then they tossed him.
I think that was in that book too. Yeah, I know Doc Ellis had a couple of entries in the Hall of Shame because there was one where I think it famous. He throw a no hitter on LSD.
That's okay. I said Coke. Yeah, it was LSD. He also has a distinction. And now this back when this stuff actually sort of mattered. He lost an all-star game for both leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pirates in 71, and I think he was with Texas like 4 or 5 years later. Now, do you remember the Tim McCarver, Bob Gibson story? They were great friends. And there's a team photo. If you look close, they're holding hands. But which I guess was at the time supposed to be some kind of like gay reference. Who knows? But Gibson was having trouble locating the plate, so Tim McCarver goes out to the mound to talk to him. And he goes, "Get the fuck out of here! The only thing you know about pitching is you can't hit it."
Yeah, so let's see. According to MLB.com, the longest game in history although kind of a caveat because it technically necessarily didn't end. It was a tie. So MK is right. Actually, there was one from 1920. Brooklyn and Boston went 26 innings, tied 1-1. So they went until night fell at Braves Field. And then if you look modern, there's two. In 84, White Sox Brewers went 25. White Sox won 7-6. That's the longest game in terms of time. Took 8 hours and 6 minutes and had to be completed over 2 days. And then there was a 1974 game. Cardinals beat the Mets 4-3, went 25 innings. And that went 7 hours and 4 minutes and wouldn't end until 3:13 in the morning. It was the longest continuous game.
And who was that between?
That was the Cardinals and the Mets, 4-3 in 1974.
Do you remember what else unique happened in 1920?
Was that when Ray Chapman got hit and killed?
Yep. It's to this day still the only on-field death.
Yeah. Let's see. And then there was a 24-inning game between the Astros and the Mets that was 1-0 in 1968. It was scoreless until the bottom of the 24th.
Wow. Okay. I'm sorry. Astros were playing who?
The Mets.
Wow, Mets seem to attract those long games.
Yeah. I'm trying to look to see if there was any modern ones.
God, there must have been some luminaries in that game.
Yeah. So there was there was also that great 1964 game between the Giants and the Mets that Giants won 8-6 that went 23 innings. And the Mets are the only major league team to play a 23 inning, a 24, and a 25 inning game. And they lost all three.
Man, it just seems like every time I turn on Instagram or YouTube, there's somebody like going in underground New York, abandoned this subway rails and stuff. I'm just waiting for people to to get fried on camera.
So, at some point it'll happen.
Kevin, he left about 20 minutes ago.
Oh,
so did I when they started talking sports. That's how it's quite the whole time.
Yeah, you know what, Venkman? Madman in the Box just texted you, said, how you like me now?
Let's see. This is okay. That's not taking me.
Oh,
I was trying to look. Double header.
So I think they have about 6 more books to read. No,
6 more books to read.
I told you before you showed up tonight, Venk. Yeah. Superman was outstanding.
Yep, I get it. It's on my list still. The read.
Yeah. In fact, Batman First Night's going to really have to be good to take the top spot tomorrow.
I got Batman First Night. I still got World's Finest, Pharaoh, James Bond, Justice League, Local Man, and Rook. And Superman to read. Yeah. Oh. I know James Bond's gonna be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that.
You would be correct. Like I said, I like Justice League, Kong, Godzilla till the last panel.
Yeah.
I thought James Bond was pretty good. Superman was excellent. What else have I read?
Did you get the new Rook?
I haven't read Rook, First Night, or Military Comics yet, but it's sanctioned. So we talked about that like that. So far, a good week.
Yeah. So far for me, I read through Cobra Commander #5, Void Rebels #9, Conan the Barbarian #11, Ultimate Black Panther #4, X-Men 97 #3, which actually has been really good. It's Steve Fox. I don't think he's writing it. I read Symbiote Spider-Man 2099 #3, which they tease they're going to have. Peter David's going to bring it back. Doom 2099, the next issue. They also have the Doctor Strange from 2099 too as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to reading Rook. Superman is always a treat when you have the main man versus Superman, or is it? You know, it could be a cop out for I know. Justice League versus Godzilla. I don't expect it to be great. I expect it to be one of those movies or books you just turn your brain off because it's nonsense.
Oh no, that's it. That's why I said I liked it until the last panel.
Well, yeah, and I heard what your reason was.
Yeah, but the rest of it was exactly what I wanted out of that series.
And that's the thing about that. I said that is a series where you really, I don't know how you could mess it up.
Well, they found a way by doing that.
You take that bit out of there, though. I mean, like it doesn't really to me change sour the book for me.
It didn't ruin the series for me by any stretch.
Yeah,
it soured my experience with the last issue because it was unnecessary. And as I said, you could have just tweaked it and made it a back and forth, and it would have had a clever ending.
I don't even understand why they even did it before they even get married.
I don't either.
It has nothing to do with anything. It's just weird.
But it gave them a chance to virtue signal, and it gets old.
Pharaoh looks good. Batman Superman World's Finest. I gotta say, the first time I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not because I do not like the Batmite and all the other mites characters now, the imps. I'm like, one's enough. I don't need, and then two's too many, and now there's like 30. It's like, but I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Local Man, always looking forward to reading that. That's always been fun. That's another thing too. Is I'm reading 2 books by people who are the biggest lefties. Actually 3. Well, got Mark Waid on Batman's World's Finest. Local Man is Tim Seeley. And then what was the other one I was looking at?
X-Men 97.
X-Men 97. Yeah, Steve Fox.
It's funny. I was having lunch with the guy that I used to work for today, and he was raving about X-Men 97 again, and they're talking about like you and he are you guys would get along great, but you're opposite sides of the political spectrum, and I think that's the same thing. Whatever they did for the cartoon to make it accessible to all. A lesson that so many that's what it was. That's where I used that. I was talking to Mark. I said about there's too much competition for entertainment to risk pissing off half the audience. X-Men, the people that did the X-Men understood that, and it's almost like that lecture was given to Steve Fox before he started writing the comic, because apparently the comic is the same way.
I'd say the weakest book I've read so far is Spider-Man 2009, the Peter David book, which is sad. And maybe it's just because I just don't care for Miguel O'Hara as much as some of the other characters. Right now they got Venom 2099, but then Miguel O'Hara's got his own Venom symbiote on him too. And it just kind of felt like the main story is like, oh, Miguel's mom banged Tyler Stone, and Miguel's father's Tyler Stone. It's like, I was just like, okay, I didn't need that. I don't need the drama and all that stuff. There was really no action. The only action was like the 2 symbiote brothers bonding, and Doctor Strange in 2099, if I remember correctly, she's like possessed by a demon. That's how she gets her powers. She has nothing to do. She's living in Doctor Strange's house. She goes to Doctor Doom of 2009 because he wants, in order to basically help rescue Miguel from the symbiote, And I'm like, okay, I guess some tongue-in-cheek humor with Peter David, but this does not feel anything like the levels of I had for
it's Steve Orlando. You're trying to hope for something that will never be.
Well, Steve Orlando's doing what?
Do what?
Isn't he writing the 2099 stuff?
No, it's Peter David.
No.
So the symbiote Spider-Man, 2009.
Symbiote Spider-Man. I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm not getting. Oh no, I would
2099
the other one. No
book.
No. The art's been decent, but I mean, it's not. I'm not having the enjoyment I had when I was reading Joe Fixit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know exactly. The thing is, I don't know exactly when he wrote that, so he may or may not have been too well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know how long ago this was being released now, but how long it was written. Yeah, that's true. I imagine last year or early this year. I don't know, but I don't know. It just felt like kind of weird. But I kind of felt like that meme where it gasped in Spanish. That's what I felt like when they're like, oh, the brother's like, the mom calls his other brother, and he's like, you need to help me. He's like, Mom, you cheated on my dad with Tyler Stone. Fuck you. That was his reaction. I was just like, what is? I don't want like Telemundo. This is the weird side of Peter David. So I don't know. I'm sure he's other comic books before. Like, what's a bad Peter David book to you, Breen?
I've yet to read one.
Really? Did you enjoy the 2099 series?
I don't read. I've never read any 2099. Didn't read him 30 years ago. Don't read him now. So I don't. Because I didn't read his Spider-Man 2099.
Oh, yeah. Like, why was that? Because I mean, obviously Peter David, you just didn't care for.
I said there were so many good books coming out in those days. It is, you know, I think I collected them, but I didn't read. I don't remember what it was.
They went for like 40 issues, I think.
It did.
Spidey 2099. I
don't know if Peter David was on it the whole time though. But
yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure he was.
So this series was teased as being like a good continuation, like the next issue. You know, it's issue 1, 2, and 3. It's teased as being a continuation, even though it's throwback. You know, but it's supposed to be like a continuation of that series. So I don't know. Like I said, it just feels off to me. Like I like Miguel is best when he is dealing with Peter Parker of the three. You know, I like that, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Does he still have is it Elijah or Lila? His holographic.
Yes or no? Right now in this book, and I said I haven't read all the way through 2099, but he's like head of like the Alchemics. You know, he's whatever it's called. He's in charge of it. In Tyler Stone, it was like kind of been ousted out. And he's been getting stressed out from like trying to make the perfect decisions because he's trying to make sure, like, you know, bad thing doesn't happen. He's basically doing the whole I'm Peter Parker stressed out thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Peter Parker became in charge of Oscorp, you know, to prevent Green Goblin from being Green Goblin because he doesn't have his tech.
Don't remind me.
I know it's a weird thing,
especially with this. ASM
you know
50.
Miguel was basically. I always looked at he's like the more violent version of Peter Parker. He's the Kane version. Remember they did that? Kane, he had the guns, and they had it when they rebooted it. He had the Kane. He had the black and red costume. And he moved down to Texas or something like that. And he was like the edgy Spider-Man. It's dumb, but I mean. I want to give a shot because Peter David and symbiote Spider-Mans have been pretty good in the past. But as far as books, I've been enjoying them most. Like I said, Void Rebels was really good. Cobra Commander finished off, you know, it wrapped up pretty nicely. Conan's been fun. He's been having fun with that. Call the Conqueror, you know, and stuff. And Ultimate Black Panther. Like I said, I wish Shuri would have turned out to be the actual villain. You know, but nope, she's not. It's somebody else.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that they couldn't do it though. But then Marvel, being Marvel, would say no.
Yeah. The NFL Network has Dolphins Browns from '86.
Oh boy,
Don Criqui and Bob Trumpy in the booth.
God, you know what? They are one of my underrated favorite broadcast team. I loved Don Criqui and Bob Trumpy, especially them doing an Orange Bowl. Nothing felt like an Orange Bowl more than having Criqui and Trumpy.
It's amazing how many ex-Bengals went on to be very. There's three that I think off the top of my head: Trumpy, Collinsworth, and Esiason.
Yeah.
And there's a piece. I said, do you know who Greg Cook was?
Yeah.
Stan Cook's brother.
One of the great what ifs. Yeah.
Well, and probably there's a good chance he would have been the best quarterback who ever lived. Bill Walsh said he's the best quarterback he'd ever seen, and he coached Joe Montana to 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
There's a piece where Greg Cook ended up living on top of a garage, like a rat infested. How a bunch of rats got into a place with it, and maybe they're like motor oil, who knows? But it's only like 13 minutes. It's tragic how that guy ended up living his life.
Yeah,
they said he'd run around. He didn't want anybody to know where he lived, so he would always be the one that he'd meet you there.
Mm-hmm.
He'd always dress immaculately, but he basically lived in squalor. Then he ended up having a bad drinking problem, and he died young. But
yeah,
what a shame! I said, because that interest with modern medicine probably, misses the end of that year, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, it's that's the thing. There are a lot of careers that were cut short. Well, I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, look, I mean, as great a career as Gale Sayers had, with modern medicine, he probably has 5-6 more years.
YouTube has old time games on radio, and I was listening to a Reds Dodgers game from '57, and the announcers they basically break into the play-by-play to announce that Herb Score had been hit in the eye with a line drive. Now, do you remember who he was? He was Sandy Koufax with control. Which Koufax didn't have in the first half of his career.
Who was this?
Herb Score.
Oh yes, the Ballad of Herb Score. Yeah,
he would have been an absolute all-time great.
Yeah,
never quite recovered from that.
No, but I mean, he was able though to at least fashion a career. He was the Cleveland Indians broadcaster. For
He lived a natural long lifespan. But his baseball career, he bounced around for several years, but could never get it back. And it's a shame because if you look at those 2 years.
Oh, that's awesome. So Tigers intentionally hit the umpire after some questionable calls. They actually threw the ball right at the umpire. After he ejected the manager or the coach or whatever.
Is this recent?
I don't know how this is. I don't know when this is from. It doesn't say.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been today. They were too busy. Getting beat by the Royals.
This is the Tigers versus the Detroit versus Cleveland.
Oh no, that's no,
because Cleveland played the Mets today, right. So that's got to be a while back.
Yeah, I'm just because I was looking, I expected that. I was like, everyone's saying that does anyone retaliate? So they just threw the ball right at his chest.
Yeah.
God, it's hard to believe this is 38 years ago.
Well, and they got a cleaned up broadcast of this one. They got a copy from Dave Volsky.
Did you see that Jeremy Renner?
It does look better than the stuff from that era that they usually show.
So Jeremy Renner's capitalizing on him almost dying, and he's selling sneakers now.
Who's capitalizing on?
Jeremy Renner.
Oh,
he's using his story. Homie always died, couldn't walk, and now he's selling these shoes now.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather buy those than the Young Bucks Reebok pumps.
Yeah.
No, I am curious though to see what they're going to do, because I know Mayors of Dogtown or whatever his show is coming back on Paramount Plus.
I mean, is he able to get around? I mean,
well, that's what I'm curious about. Oh, Richie Roby, God!
Because I saw some.
Look at that punt.
I saw a preview for the new season, but was that filmed before he got hurt?
I can't imagine how. I don't think they held on to it for that long.
So then he can. I guess he can at least stand and walk.
Yeah. So that was a 62-yard boot from Reggie Roby.
And I don't think Reggie Roby's plant leg ever comes off the ground. I mean, he was a freak.
Oh yeah, no, the way his punting leg, his kicking leg swung was just insane.
But and most punters come off the ground too. I mean, both feet. Yeah, but Roby didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost like like a toy soldier or something. The way his leg would just kick up 90 degrees,
like a Buckingham Palace guard.
Yeah,
or a goose stepper.
Yeah, let's see. 85 divisional. Can I predict who won this? I want to say the Dolphins wind up winning this because don't the Patriots beat the Dolphins in the AFC Championship?
I think so.
Yeah, because the 85 Super Bowls, the Bears and the Patriots.
Oh, is this 85? I thought this was 86.
No, the thing in the corner says 1985 AFC divisional.
Well, I'm seeing 1986 Cleveland Browns at Miami Dolphins. Replaying storied action in previous season's games from the National Football League. So you might have a more accurate grid than me.
Let's saying.
Of course, this could have been January of 70 or 86.
Yeah. Well, no, I've got Dolphins Browns on right now. You've got it. The Browns have looks like third down on their own 22. And CoStar's 5 of 11 for 28.
Yeah, but my grid has this game as being from 86.
Oh, I've got. I mean, I'm looking at the actual screen. So over in the lower right of the screen, just above.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, all right. So so this was probably like first week of January of 76 then, because it's still from the 85 season, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, I said it doesn't matter who wins this game because they lose to the Patriots.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
No. 80, well, no, the Bears. Yeah, so the Bears Super Bowl win was actually in early '86, so it's the '85 season, right?
Yeah, yeah. But I'm assuming this would be the '85 season.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm just trying to think what would make this game special. Why NFL Network would be showing it.
Yeah. So Patriots was.
There goes Kevin Mack. And they are not going to catch him, and that is a touchdown, Cleveland.
Of course, I said, you do remember who prevented the Bears from having a perfect season, don't you?
Yeah, it was the Dolphins.
Yep. That's
Dolphins on Monday night.
You can't make that shit up.
No. Great stuff. Let's see. MK, what would have happened if Bonds admired a home run off Bob Gibson? Oh, the next time Barry came up, he would have been flat on the ground. There's no doubt about it.
Well, if Barry Bonds had been playing when Bob Gibson was pitching, he probably wouldn't have taken so many steroids that his head actually got bigger, because that'd been too tempting a target for Gibson.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, wow, 21-3 Cleveland. And they're going to win this one, it looks like.
Oh, wait, that's right, because didn't Cleveland have like a couple of heartbreaking conference championship losses?
Oh, yeah, they were to Denver. That would have been
both
86.
of them to Denver?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, then
because you have the drive and the fumble.
The Dolphins might come back in this then.
Yeah. Well, no, but those were both to Denver.
Right. So I don't think that.
Denver had the 98 or 99 yard drive to score the winning touchdown, and then Cleveland returned. Tried to return the favor, and then that was the infamous fumble. I think it was Kevin Mack that fumbled, not Ernest Biner. That lost the game, but that would have been 86 and 87, I think. Because I think the Broncos went to the Super Bowl in both 86 and 87. Because they lost to the Giants, I think, in 86, and then they lost to the Redskins in 87. Yeah.
Yeah, Miami comes back and wins this.
Oh, okay.
And then got pounded by New England, who in turn got annihilated by the Bears.
Yep. So in 85, what was it? I'm trying to remember the Niners, because it was 86 where Joe Montana got knocked unconscious in the Meadowlands. 85. I'm trying to remember who they loot. Do you see who they lost to? Who the Niners lost to in the 85 playoffs? Because I'm pretty sure they made the playoffs.
They got knocked out in the wild card game to the Giants.
Oh, okay. And they lost to the Giants twice.
And then the Bears. Here's Chicago did not give up a point in the NFC playoffs.
Yeah.
And then so they gave up 10 points in the playoffs total.
Yeah, it's one of the most dominant.
How did I think you'd have to say in sports history, they might be the most dominant one-time only champion.
Yeah.
They were just they were unstoppable.
Yeah. Well, and the thing was that nobody had seen that 46 type defense before. I mean, of course, now you think today in terms of hot reads and it'd be almost a suicide to blitz that many people even against necessarily an average quarterback, because you're asking your secondary to try and hold up, and and you would counter it today by sending 4 or 5 wide receivers, so you're forcing the defense to have to cover somebody. But yeah, no, they were they were incredibly dominant. MK, no, we'll never see a 162-0 season. It's improbable. I'm not going to say impossible, but it's highly improbable.
No, it is. It's impossible.
No.
I mean, I know technically it could happen, but it's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, we're never going to see a 56-game hitting streak again.
Yeah. Probably not.
Well, it can't happen because there are too many. Every pitcher on a staff is specialty now. Think about some of the tired arms that, like if DiMaggio went into game 49, 0 for 3. Well, that starter's good chance that starter's still in the game. Or if it's the reliever, in those days the relievers were failed starters. Now they are bred to be like you give guys bred to pitch the 6th inning.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I honestly can't see that ever being, hell.
No.
You think about it. Rose got to 44. He tied somebody that from like decades before that. Has anybody gotten past 44 even since then? And that's still 12 away. And DiMaggio had a 26-game hitting streak that he started the day after he didn't get a hit.
Yeah, I remember that. So I know MK's asked it a couple of times, and he said once, some people say Mariano Rivera is overrated. I'll say, thing people forget is Mariano Rivera initially, was a failed starter in the minor leagues, and they moved him to
he started for the Yankees.
Yeah, but I think I make the argument that he's the greatest one-pitch pitcher of all time in terms of all he threw all he threw was that cutter, just cutter over and over and over again,
and everybody knew what was coming.
Yeah,
and to have that much success, guys, a couple of the obviously a couple of the most famous failures, being the Game 7 2001 World Series, and Game 4 of the 2004 playoffs. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of failure to point to.
No. And I know about failure because I remember watching Dennis Eckersley. And I still can't believe he threw that off-speed slot to Kirk Gibson in '88.
he probably figured he wasn't mobile enough to get to it.
Well, he had just broken him down with the previous one, and of course, what I always love to remind people is it would have only tied the game if he hadn't walked Mike Davis. And Eckersley had like 8 walks all season. And he walked a sub 200 hitter.
Funny how that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
That 88 Dodger team was it was destiny. I mean, I said, and Kirk Gibson won the MVP that year with the most pedestrian stats of any MVP winner.
What was it? 20 homers and 88 RBIs,
something like that. It's like 276 average, and I would say he was the true definition of an MVP because he, like I said, it's Andre Dawson won MVP for a last place team. How much more last place can you come?
21-9. They're going to go for 2, right, Breen? Oh wait, no, 89.
That'd be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah. No, it's funny though. I mean, you talk about football today. Yeah, I mean, automatically they would be going for 2. Yeah, that was. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was Mark Super Duper. What was I gonna say? Yeah, no, that 88. I cursed that 88 Dodgers team so much.
Yeah, that team. The Dodgers won. Okay, in 1965, they had Drysdale and Koufax, and an offense that was just. I don't even know if average is fair to say. And it was shown the very next year, they had Drysdale and Koufax and scored 2 runs in 4 games and got blown out by the Orioles.
Yeah. Well,
but in '88, same thing. It's like there was just that team had no business winning a World Series.
Yeah. Well, again, for me, it's back then I was more of a Mets fan than I was a Giants fan because I fell in love with Dwight Gooden, and I look at the Mets teams from '84 to '88, and the kind of just the what if there for as good as those teams were, they had 2 division titles and 1 World Series.
Well, they might be I can't say that because the '86 Mets really should have lost the World Series. If
you can argue they should have lost the NLCS.
Well, yeah, but you go to the game 6. Buckner had no business being in the field.
No,
he couldn't reach down to touch his toes, let alone get a ground ball.
No,
and
they left him out there because they wanted him to celebrate the manager. Was it McNamara?
I think it was.
Yeah. At least the stories I've heard is McNamara left him out there because he wanted him to be able to celebrate on the field.
Well, that'll learn you.
Yeah,
great manager, but doesn't have a ring.
Here's the thing too. So I'll tell you this: I was such a manic sports fan back then. I played hooky from school to watch the '86 NLCS. And I convinced my mom to call in sick for school for me to watch the NLCS, and I became convinced that my good luck charm was having my Mets jacket hanging on the doorknob on my bedroom door on the back, and I was watching it on the little portable black and white because if I watched it on the color TV out front, they were going to lose. And
Zach was gonna complain too.
And I even remember after every at bat or something, I'd clap my hands, go touch the jacket. Come on, Mets! Just the full superstition that you get when you're an insane fan that you believe, hey, if I don't do this, the team's gonna lose or something.
But yeah, speaking of that, the baseball equivalent of the '85 Bears. Might have been the '84 Tigers.
Yeah, that's
because that was a
definitely
steamroller
definitely
that just I think Sparky got one more improbable division winner in '87.
yeah.
But he did, I mean, most of the '84 talent was gone by then, but yeah,
Guys.
that team really didn't do anything after that. But for that 1 year, they were 35-5 start the year.
Well, gentlemen, as riveting this conversation is, I am going to go read with the girls, do an offline reading.
Are you really?
Yeah, we are. They're up for it. So
what are you reading?
Probably Just League Adventure or Super Friends.
Is it just the three of you?
It's me, MARANYA, and Amy and Melissa.
Well, okay, you gotta get it better. You want to go over and read?
I can head over to a read. I'm not going anywhere or do anything.
Do you want a couple more readers, Venk?
Sure, whatever. I mean, I don't know how long you guys want to stay up. That's why I'm choosing really short books. That's why.
Well, yeah, because I a shorter the better. Because I want to get to bed before this shit starts wearing off and I crawl back up into my brain again. So, you send us a link.
I will.
I gotta hit the head. I'll see you over wherever that link. What are you gonna send? Where are you gonna send it on?
I will send them to you guys personally.
All right. See you in a minute.
Okay.
I'm gonna drive over there.
Yep. All right. Good night, everybody.
Later, guys.
Check us out on the read or whatever.
Well, let's be offline.
Okay. All right. Well, you'll see it when it gets posted. Good night, everybody. Oh, MK. Last thing, Fernando Valenzuela. He was a very good pitcher. He wasn't a Hall of Fame pitcher because he didn't have the durability and the length of career. But I mean, Fernando Mania was a real thing. And if you watched him in the early '80s, he was pretty fantastic. I mean, he was where I learned all about the screwball. So he was pretty incredible. So, all right, with that, I'll see you over. Good night, everybody.
Good morning.